What is going on, everybody? Welcome into a communication breakdown podcast live with me and Lucky. Main reason we're live this week is because I absolutely messed up the recording earlier this week and the sound was all off. And you could barely hear me, but you could hear Lucky like he was right in your ear. So here we are doing a live one, guys. The background you'll see there is just some old DMZ gameplay from a community day, just so you guys got something to stare at while you listen to me and Lucky waffle on. Thank you everybody who's dropped a comment so far. I'm just going to bang out some gifted memberships real quick because I've got some at the moment, so give me a sec, guys. Lucky, do you want to say hello to everybody that may well be listening, buddy?
Hey, how's everyone doing? Happy. Is it Saturday? Today's Saturday.
It is Saturday, bro. Yeah, all day.
Days, man. Like I've been so busy, I lost track of days. But yeah, had a interesting holiday and then nice rest day in between, kind of. And now it's the weekend, so looking forward to this. I didn't really do much other than I decided to switch rooms in the house for better like recording and some other things. So I spent most of the day doing that. The good thing is it was all indoors, so I didn't have to be out in the 95-degree weather, moving stuff. So
no, fair show. Perry and Shima, thank you for the 14 months and the 11 months respectively. You guys are legends. So today is going to be talking about Call of Duty. We're going to start off not attacking the game or any of the mechanics or any gameplay that is attached to the game. First, I'm going to start with what like Call of Duty means to us as players, and like for me, it's been a huge part of my gameplay from 2007 to now. To be honest with you, I have a lot of love for the game. And it's has been my number one game up until this year. Spent a lot of time with a lot of people playing it, met a lot of people through it. And I love the franchise from the bottom of my heart. I think it's important to get that down before we get further into the podcast. I do love this franchise with everything I can as far as gaming is concerned. What about you, Lucky? How do you feel? What does it mean to you as a game?
Yeah, so like I said I think in the previous podcast, I came to Call of Duty pretty late. I only started playing in 2022.
Yep.
So it was like March 2022. So at that time, it was like something to do. My friend had been asking me to play, so it was just some like the thing for Call of Duty for me is like what it means to me. It's more about the DMZ community because I played Warzone, I played different modes, but like the DMZ community was so unique within, from my perspective, Call of Duty in general, but like I think the gaming community, like a larger gaming community, it's pretty unique too. So like I have relatively little experience, like short-term experience, but there's a lot packed in there because I think DMZ was probably the most unique and interesting mode that they put in a long time, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable as a long-term player to agree that with you. The last big real mix-up was the invention of Warzone and bringing that into the Call of Duty banner. And prior to that, it was just different game modes or like new zombie modes, stuff like that. I'd go as far as to say DMZ is one of the best modes they ever put out.
Yeah, I probably think so. Like I said, my friend got me into playing, and if it had just been multiplayer, I would have played it for a week and stopped. Like it's just not my type of mode. But because Warzone was around, it kept me hooked. And then Warzone led into DMZ.
When I started playing, it was either campaign or multiplayer. That was it. Do you know what I mean? Really, like COD 4 Modern Warfare, like didn't even have like a Spec Ops mode attached to it. From what I remember, it was literally campaign multiplayer.
Okay,
I could be wrong. Someone could correct me in chat. Yo, Wolf Grace in chat and Fontaine, how you doing, boys? Yo, Furrier, welcome in. Good to see you guys.
What's up, Edu? How's it going?
Don't thank me for the gifted, mate. That's from YouTube, but you're welcome, Edu. Like my favourite game modes to start with were Team Deathmatch, just because it was a respawn mode, mainly.
Okay.
I got my ass kicked on multiplayer for 2 years, maybe. Didn't really get adequate at multiplayer, I would say, until like maybe Modern Warfare 2 or 3. I was still getting my ass handed to me for years on that game. I kept playing it because I liked it. My favourite game mode became like Headquarters, something like that, I guess, as that got introduced. And then I love Prop Hunt. I don't know if you've ever played Prop Hunt.
No,
it's a multiplayer mode where you can transform into an item from the map or an asset and then hide.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's hide and seek, but you're a prop. It's a great game mode. I'm guessing what your DMZ is your just favorite game mode overall because you've only really played with the BR mode and a little dabbling in multiplayer, I suppose.
Well, so when I played, the thing that got me hooked was this mode called, it was a Warzone mode, but it was called Clash. I think I've talked about it with you before. It's
Yeah, we
30
have
versus
definitely.
30 on like so at the time it was Caldera was the big map. And it just takes a section of that map.
Yeah,
And instead of like people respawning, on the ground like a multiplayer, you just parachute right back in on your side of the map, whichever side your team holds.
yeah.
And so it's kind of like plunder, but it's a certain section of the map, and you're not chasing money. It's basically just a big like fight.
It sounds like grind
And
war.
yeah, as soon as but instead of spawning on the ground, you dive in, so you can parachute to where you want to go, and try and parachute behind the enemy,
Oh,
all that stuff.
okay.
So that hooked me to like learn, and I leveled the guns and all that stuff. And then I played Resurgence. I played BR a little bit, but I played Resurgence on Rebirth. But when Fortune's Keep came out, I lived on that map. That's where I really learned to play COD and PvP,
Yeah,
was Fortune's Keep.
I played Fortune's Keep for maybe 2 weeks when I came back before the release of DMZ
Okay.
because I knew a new COD was coming out. And it was going to be Warzone 2, so I thought, all right, maybe they get a grip of the cheaters this time. And I came back. I came back to the game at the end of Caldera's lifespan. And there's a couple of shots on me on the channel that I uploaded, me doing snipes and stuff at the end of Caldera's lifetime, but that was basically all I got to play a Fortune's Keep. I only played about 10 rounds on it. I did like it though, it was a good map.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
fun map.
so did you ever play the Armored Royale mode?
The what?
The Armored Royale, where you'd get a Bertha truck with like
Yeah.
a Gatling gun on the
Yep.
roof or whatever.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a great mode, man. Absolute chaos.
There was another. Yeah, that reminds me. There's another mode in Warzone One. I think it was called like Payload or something.
You might be
And
right,
so
yeah.
like it was on Rebirth, and like you would start in a section of Rebirth, and you would have to escort a truck. And so one team's trying to stop you, one team's trying to. That was kind of like a mini death match, basically based around this truck that you're trying to move across the map before they
Okay.
destroy it or whatever. So I played that a lot. That was a lot of fun. Um,
I don't
nice
think I ever
quick
played
mode.
that. I don't think I ever
Yeah,
played
it
that.
was. These are really a couple of fun modes. I was convinced they were going to put in the new Warzone. They just never did. I
Oh,
was like,
this
man,
this
these
what
are.
they this what they sort of do. They play around with gimmicks, and then the ones that seem to be really good never seem to come back.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen
It's
it countless times with countless modes. Yeah, Shima, Coburn, welcoming guys. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being
what's
here.
up, guys?
Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things about the game itself. Is like the mechanics are buttery smooth. The gunplay's always good. The sounds are usually spot on.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, it's kind of lost that solid build quality off the bat. Do you know what I mean? It always seems to take them quite a while to catch up with what should
Yeah. I
be
mean,
a decent product on release. Do you know what I mean?
in my limited experience, so like when I first started playing, it was Vanguard, which I think was Sledgehammer, and the quality from that compared to IW with MW2, like
Yeah,
IW was just to me much better. Like there were some things I didn't like the change. I didn't like the movement change where it was slower and all that.
yeah.
But like the core of it, like the gunplay, the sound quality, that type of stuff to me was better in MW2 than um uh what
Can't,
we have now,
yeah,
really.
because like you're talking, like that Sledgehammer release was actually I think the last game that was released on the Warzone One engine.
Okay, yeah.
And then when Modern Warfare 2 came out, which is the Warzone 2 engine, that's why probably it felt better to you because it was a more updated engine. What you're actually playing when you played Vanguard and World War 2 would have been
Yeah, that could be it.
it
Yeah.
would have been Modern Warfare 2019's engine with slightly updated bits tacked onto it because that's essentially all it was. And it's like this year with Black Ops, it's going to be this same engine that we're using this year again. It's going to be an Infinity Ward engine with a Treyarch skin on it.
Right.
So again, it's another going to be another copy and paste this year, just again with updated movement mechanics. So it should feel relatively similar.
Yeah, with Vanguard, the other thing is like, I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with the core gameplay or anything, but like the bundles are just like so, they seem so light to me. I don't know if that's the right word, but like it's just fluff.
What
It's
lacking?
not, like yeah, like so like some of the bundles in Warzone 1, like they had the milsim. It was more milsim. I guess maybe that's what it is. It's more realistic, like,
What, Warzone
milsim
1?
type of stuff. Yeah, well, I guess it would be Modern Warfare, Warzone 1. Like they had all the different type of like the British SWAT police and the
It's funny you say that because
you know,
Cobb's basically saying it felt more gritty in the chat. This is the
yeah,
sounds of it.
it's
Then I think I agree with him. The sounds was a lot more chunkier in Warzone 1.
yeah,
Like
yeah, it
when
was
you hit someone with an HDR in Warzone 1, it sounded like a punch. Do you
right,
know what I mean?
right. I mean, some of the hit marker stuff sounded a little like, I don't know, tinnier maybe or something like higher pitched or so. Yeah,
Yep.
but like in when I played Warzone 3, I guess they call it now, when it came out with Modern Warfare 3, like you would kill someone and there was a high pitched like sound. It just sounded so bad.
Oh, I know
I
what
was
sound
like,
you
what
mean. Yeah.
is? Yeah, it was like, why? I don't want to hear this. I want to hear some like, I don't need to hear anything really. But if you're gonna make a sound, make it like, have some thump to it, like,
Well,
not
it's
this
the
high
drift away
pitched
from
weird.
a realistic-ish game to the anime tracer packs that we have these days. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's the shift to the more ridiculous, the more Fortnite style packs and
Well, and
stuff
I
like
think
that, and the whole way the game's being presented.
right, I think that might be a subtle reason, like almost like a subconscious reason why people like DMZ so much because Call of Duty is never going to be a realistic, overall type of game, but like
Things it was,
DMZ
mate.
is so gritty, like it has that feel of like a more realistic type of experience.
What you had when it first came out, because like Battlefield at the time was more of a proper milsim feel, whereas Call of Duty was a milsim with an arcade feel to it. And over
Okay.
time, that milsim has been dropped more and more and more. Because if you go and back and play the original Modern Warfare game, mate, it's gritty. It's a proper milsim arcade game.
Okay.
Because it's got that gritty, realistic aspect, but with arcade elements in the gameplay, which made it really accessible and made it very popular. But that's been abandoned now
Okay.
for packs.
Yeah, I played the only Battlefield I ever played was Battlefield 2042. Oh, that's not true. I played Battlefield 4 for a couple of weeks on like the
Yeah,
PS3, and it was fun, but it get kind of whatever after a while. But I played 2042. I had like a 10-hour free trial when I got my Xbox, and
yeah. How'd it feel?
it was okay. Like it seemed like it could be fun. I couldn't spend hours playing it like I did DMZ,
Yeah.
but it was okay.
DMZ for me it's a wasted opportunity, and it's also been a massive fuck you to players, in my opinion.
Because they stopped supporting it, or just
Yeah, mainly
yeah,
like they should never have monetized it until they knew it was going to stick around.
mm-hmm.
Do you know, players have been hoodwinked in that respect. Like, obviously, they never said any period of time that the game was going to be live for. They never said how long these packs would last for or anything. They give no indication, so you could blame the players for buying the packs and then getting butthurt that the game's going to be cut down. But I think maybe they should have established it as a proper mode before monetizing. When
Yeah.
they
I
were going to
think
go forward with it.
I think for me personally, like once they switched from Warzone to Warzone 2, and they weren't letting you use anything that you had previously bought, I just assumed that whatever I decided to buy going forward, at some point there was going to be a point where I wouldn't be able to use it in the game. Now, I think people made decisions what they were going to buy based on the idea that Modern Warfare 2 was originally supposed to be a 2-year cycle, not a 1 year,
See, they didn't even
right?
say that. They didn't even say that. That was actually an assumption by the wider community that it was going to be a 2-year game. They never actually publicly said it was a 2-year game.
I remember them talking about it, and like they didn't first, like the people at Call of Duty didn't dispel it. That's for sure. They
No, they
were,
didn't. No, they didn't.
so they could have easily said that, but
But it's
yeah, but
look what they did with DMZ, right? With when there was all the hoo ha, whether it was going to be continued or not. They did a brilliant market employ there by saying nothing.
exactly.
The community buzzed for weeks, if not months, over whether it would continue or not, and gave them so much exposure without them having to even lift a finger towards a marketing bill.
Right, right.
It's crazy that, like, because of how hyped the game is, that we will just create hype ourselves, even with them saying nothing.
Yeah, I mean, look, DMZ is my favorite, Call of Duty experience, and the game mode's a lot of fun, but it was more about the people I met, the people I played. Like I played with a lot of people. Obviously you and I met through playing DMZ, and we decided to do this podcast and all that. But it's more, to me, it's more about like the people I've met and the fun. So if they just let it go like this and even did just very minor updates, right? I think it could still have a decent amount of life in it. I just don't know if they're gonna bother with that.
I don't think they
you
are.
know?
I think with like games like Delta Force, with Arena Breakout coming out, there's going to be more forays into the extraction shooter, but what we're looking for is quality extraction shooter games. Delta Force looks like it could be it. If you've got a decent free to play game, that the community loves, that they are going to take the time to do the mission updates and all this sort of stuff that Activision couldn't be bothered to do, then I don't see a reason DMZ would come back.
Well, so I think we were talking about this on Hold My Beers stream the other night.
Right. Okay.
I think the problem with Delta Force for console players is going to be like the looting and inventory management system. Because
DayZ
it's kind
dealt
of
with
has
it.
like
DayZ dealt with
yeah,
it relatively well on console. It's not perfect, but it's a way to do it. I'm sure they will have that in the back of their minds because the looting system is okay for PC players or keyboard mouse players and mobile phone players.
yeah. For me,
game.
I think
Console
it's
is
more
going to be
about
clunky.
the inventory management is
Yeah,
going to
it's going
be
to be
like
clunky. It's going to be super clunky, mate.
which I think is when there's a barrier to, like, we can call it clunky, but what it is, it's a barrier to casual players or people who might play DMZ. So if they can fix that, then I think it has a much better chance. It also has like some sort of like powers you can use, which I'm not sure people are gonna, who are looking for like a more
right.
realistic
So
experience.
the powers are like, they're not magic powers. Like, okay, so one of the powers is the ability to tack slide. One of the powers is a bow, an arrow that's got like a UAV on it. So when you shoot the arrow, it'll pop and then mark enemies. So essentially, it's a snapshot grenade on an arrow. That's what the abilities are, from what I can see. I believe that the looting system will be as clunky on controller as DMZ is, because you go in and you have to select the box and all that sort of stuff. I think Delta Force will be similar to that. Regardless of how it looks, it'll be go to what you want and then press square to put it in your bag or wherever it is. Do you know what I mean? Which means it'll be as clunky as DMZ, I would say.
The bigger issue, I think, is just going to be the inventory management, like when you're actually within your inventory instead of just looting, like equipping stuff and all that. Seems like it's going to be a little bit, but who knows? It'll be worth a shot. I mean,
it'll be intuitive. It's not going to be rocket science, mate.
Right.
Like when you open your bag in DMZ, you get a line of 8 to 10 blocks, depending on the size of your bag.
Mm-hmm.
All that's going to happen with Delta Force is you'll have a picture of your operator on the left and your bag on the right, and it'll be in the console version. It'll be squares, I would have thought. So each item will take 1 block, because that's what DayZ did. So like, if you pick up a cannon,
I played DayZ. It was for me, it was really annoying, but I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Learn keyboard mouse. It's the way forward.
Yeah, I know. I agree. For that type of game, it's probably much better. It's just like if you're trying to capture the DMZ community, I think East Plains just said it in the chat. It's it was built for casual and console, is what that mode was more built for. If you have keyboard and mouse, it's much better experience, or easier experience, maybe, or comfortable, whatever. But it's really good for console and casual players. I think we've talked about this too, but the irony of it being for casual players is I feel like it's one of the hardest modes for a casual or a newer player to learn. It's like it's very difficult to survive in DMZ.
It's a bit more, when it first came out, it was a bit more relaxed than BR. So in the early days, it was good for someone to learn on that mode, to be honest, from my perspective as a long-term player. I found DMZ a lot more chilled out and a lot slower paced than BR. Getting your head around where mission items are and objectives and stuff may be a bit taxing compared to BR, because there aren't any in BR, really, are there?
No,
But
yeah, I mean
I
it's
think
contradictory.
BR is probably a steeper learning curve and a faster learning curve, just because
Hmm.
it's a much faster paced game mode. I mean, now DMZ would be extremely difficult to learn for a new player just because how sweaty it is. Plus the influx of people that can see you through walls. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and comparing DMC to Warzone now, like I played Warzone, Resurgence, not as much as I played DMZ, but I play a couple hours, maybe a week. And the TTK is so fast, it's almost like multiplayer in Warzone right now.
Oh, is
So
it
like
really?
the survivability of DMZ is I think very appealing to people, which also makes the one shot shotgun why people hate it so much because like it just kind of disregards the point of DMZ and the balance of DMZ.
Well,
Like if you can't one shot with a sniper except for having a specific loadout on it and all that,
yeah,
like the fact that you can one shot with a shotgun on full plates is just really stupid.
it's crazy. Like Cobb saying he didn't like the police system. I liked it. I didn't like the truce system when they introduced the truce system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, DMZ did need gear fear, but that was taken out with the 15-minute bundles. Evan James, I thought they said it was a 2 year game. No, they never did, mate. It was industry insiders said it'd be a 2 year game. Activision never actually said it, from what I've seen. As soon as they started spoon feeding and got rid of gear fear. Yep, totally right, Shima. Police system moment communication. Every time our players helping each other. Not having a reset. Not having a reset. Yeah, exactly. No reset really did kill DMZ. They should have reset it at least one more time just to stretch it out.
Yeah, the reset was a little controversial. The I just didn't like having to reopen my insured slots again. That was the only thing that bothered me about the resets.
Mate, what it would give
Just
for the challenges to unlock my guns again on my main account now.
the guns, yeah, but the slots,
No,
like
the slots too, mate. It's been over a year
yeah,
since. Yeah, it's been well over a year since I unlocked the slots on my main account.
it's just so boring to me having to do that type of stuff.
It wouldn't have
Like
been if they changed the missions.
yeah, I guess.
Do you know what I mean? This is the thing. The game, it's a great game at its core. It's got lovely like gameplay loop and stuff like that. But what it lacked was like innovation within the mission structures. They added a few here. They added a few here. They added a faction here. They had Legion and took Legion out, and then they put another faction in. So there was mix-ups of missions there, but they still use some of Legion's missions on the other factions. So after season 4, there were no new missions added. Nothing.
Yeah, I love doing missions. Like I really enjoy it. It's probably one of my like in things I most enjoy or can most enjoy about DMZ when
Yeah,
they're done right. But what I don't like is having to redo the same rewards over and over. And to me, unlocking your slots is a reward, right? So if they came up with something different, like okay, you're going to unlock the slot this time, and then you're going to get maybe a lesser cooldown on it or something at the
something.
same, you know what I mean?
They should
Just
have
something.
changed. They should have changed mission objectives. Definitely.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I would say that 100%. Like Cobb saying, wipes resets have been a massive reason why Tarkov survived so long. That and the addition of new content and wipes. Exactly that. Exactly that. It's got a healthy ecosystem of stuff that happens within Tarkov. They have regular wipes. They get people set to reset to 0 constantly. And it's
That's
good for the
true.
game.
But Tarkov has a very much smaller community, and the people who play that game are more hardcore type of players. The appeal of Call of Duty is the casualness of it, in my opinion. That's just what like if DMZ was like Tarkov, I wouldn't have played it because I don't want to sit there and do all these different things for hours. Like some people just don't have that kind of time.
And it begs the
To
question: can there ever be a proper, successful, casual extraction shooter? Because, like, the very nature of extraction shooters is they're hardcore games. Do you know what I mean? Like, any survival game is a hardcore game. You can't have a casual survival game. Not really. I guess you can, but
Probably not, but
they're more like
I think
mobile
DMZ
games.
is it. It's probably DMZ is probably the it might be that's what DMZ's perfect spot is.
But it
I don't
needs the
know.
wipes to keep it fresh. Do you know what I mean? This is where we're stuck in a conundrum because your casual player
Yeah,
doesn't want wipes, but without wipes, it's not fresh.
it's. I don't think it's that they don't want wipes. It's just they don't want wipes and then have to redo everything they just did, like from A to B. You know what I mean? And go
Yeah,
get like if someone who's a more casual player spends 4 hours grinding to get the insured weapon slot open or whatever, whatever the barrier may be, right? If they have to do that again in a couple months, they're just not going to do it.
It's a shame because if they stuck with it, then after the third wipe, they'd be unlocking them in no time.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I would unlock the second slot within a couple of days of a wipe on DMZ.
Right. It's like I have just more. I'm probably not a casual player at this point because I played so much of this stupid game. But like, I still have kind of like a more casual minded mindset, and so for me, like I remember. I think it was Sinister who was talking about one time when I was watching him, like way back when DMZ first started, about like how we should go in and you should have to build your guns every time and you should have to do this. And I'm like, man, that sounds great for people who play games a lot. I said, but I use my friend as the example. Like he's got a family, young family, 2 young kids. Like he doesn't have the time to jump in for an hour or two, jump into DMZ, go find a gun, build it, and then dies 2 seconds later. Then he's got to go back in and then do it again.
I see what you're saying. I can completely empathize with that, but that's sort of where Grey Zone has done really well because they got that PvE mode. Do you know what I mean? That allows a hardcore game to be accessible by a casual player.
Well, he likes PvP. He really enjoys it, but he just doesn't want to go through the. It's why he doesn't play DMZ. Even I mean, it's much different now because he hasn't played in a long time. So he would probably find it a little bit more appealing now. But he's like, dude, I don't want to go in, find all this gear, die, and then like I have to go back. I have to wait an hour or two for my cooldowns on my guns because he's a casual player. He's not spending on bundles for 15-minute cooldowns. He's that casual, and he's not. He doesn't have the time to wait 2.5 hours to get his gun back.
So how would he feel if there was a PvE mode in the game that he could recover on and chill out on before going for PvP?
I don't think he would play it, and this is what I've kind of said about DMZ a long time. In my mind, the appeal of DMZ isn't just the PvP; it's the threat of the PvP. So, like,
I agree.
Like what makes it fun for me to go in solo, and it's frustrating because you can die very easily, but like the challenge of surviving in DMZ solo, so I don't even have to engage in PvP. It's just the threat of it being there makes it more interesting to me and makes it worth playing.
I do agree.
Yeah. So if there was a PvE mode, I probably wouldn't even bother with it. I doubt he would either.
That's fair.
Because to me, the PvE mode is basically zombies, right? I could, I mean, they're not the games aren't attached. I can't go into zombies and regain and use it in DMZ, obviously. But like,
no,
I just don't bother with zombies because to me, it's a boring PvE mode.
I'm not a fan of zombies. However, I do quite enjoy Grey Zone Warfare on PvE.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's difficult. It's the bots are nuts in Grey Zone. So they're worse than like in DMZ. You get overwhelmed by numbers, and in Grey Zone, they're genuinely lethal.
Gotcha.
So it's at the moment the state of Grey Zone, and if it's going to stay in the state it's in with the bots, it's incredibly difficult to get a foothold in a fight against bots, especially as a solo, because one will tap you, and you won't know where he is because he's hidden in the bush somewhere on something. And they're like the bots on Grey Zone they're almost as bad as players, whereas in DMZ they're nowhere near as bad as players.
Yeah,
it's just numbers. Like you get swarmed by 5 bots and you're done in DMZ. You won't even get to see the 5th bot in Grey Zone. Do you know what I mean?
FPS games, PvE just are not appealing to me. So I'm probably not the best person to give an opinion on that as far as like, how fun that could be. Because I personally don't find it fun.
Do you not play like FPS campaign modes and stuff?
I mean, I play Call of Duty campaign mode, and that's basically it. Like I when I tell you I played Call of Duty in 2022, it's the first time I played Call of Duty. That's really aside from Far Cry, I really didn't play first person shooters. That's why I resisted playing Call of Duty so long, because my friend been trying to get me to play for like 10, 15 years. And I'm like, dude, I don't like first person shooters.
Bro, you should give Metro a go. Metro's a great first person game.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's the PvP is what I find appealing out of Call of Duty, and as many problems as the game has, it's a really well done PvP first person shooter for me. For what and DMZ just took it like to a different level. And I didn't know what DMZ even was going to be when it came. Like I didn't even pay much attention to, because they kept saying extraction shooter. I don't even know what that is at
Neither
the
did I.
time.
Neither did I, mate.
I was like,
Hands
what?
up. I can't say I ever played an extraction mode before. I was mainly either a BR player or survival game player.
Yeah.
Um,
So
DayZ, etc.
my experience was Warzone. That was it. And
Mm-hmm.
I once I tried DMZ like the hour they released it, and I never looked back
That
because I
means
was
you've
looking
never.
for something to play because Warzone was horrible back then. Like the actual Warzone that came out a couple weeks before DMZ was just awful. It was
Yeah,
just awful.
it's because they haven't quite captured the magic of the original Warzone yet. Um,
Right.
and that might be because we were all in lockdown at the time it released, and it was like it was a way to get out. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's
Hmm.
gonna have some bearing on the way the game feels and stuff, but it's never Warzone's never had the reception it has since it released originally, and multiplayer hasn't had a good reception since Warzone was released.
Okay.
Um, Mainly because they put all their eggs into Warzone, and multiplayer is now an afterthought.
Yeah, I mean, they could make the best multiplayer experience probably for you, and I still probably wouldn't play it. It's just I like something with there's stakes to it. Like that's why DMZ appeals. Even now, like gear doesn't mean as much, or you can argue it probably doesn't mean anything. Dying doesn't really,
Yeah,
but like the fact that there's stakes to it, that you're trying to get to this point where you can exfil, or
yeah,
if you're doing the mission, you're trying to get this and then need to exfil with this stuff. You know, to me, that's so much more enjoyable, even in a bad state that it's in now with one-shot shotguns and cheating and glitchers and all that. To me, that's more enjoyable than playing like hard point on multiplayer or something, like running up the score, getting 100 kills. Like I never, it just is not a motivation for me.
yeah, yeah. I just like for me, like I uninstalled DMZ yesterday. Played it last night
Yeah,
with
I know
Dutch,
you told me.
and now I've just uninstalled it, mate. It's just the state of the game. It's just for me, it's not fun. I had a great time hanging out with Dutch and stuff, but the game ain't fun to play anymore.
See,
Um,
that's a frustration with DMZ for me because I played a couple nights ago with Beer on stream and it was fun. We played with Lieutenant Dan's legs and they were both streaming and it was, had some really good games, fun games. And then I played off stream with Beer and our other friend Jeff last night,
yeah,
and it was the most frustrating experience. Like it wasn't fun.
I can guarantee if you VPN to EU servers every day, you'll find every day frustrating and fun every single gameplay session.
I used to play on EU
Yeah,
servers,
it's
so
horrible
I
over
know.
here, mate. It's
I
horrible.
know.
It's underbarrel glitches, map glitches, and cheaters 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a sad state of affairs. That's why I installed it. I can't play it again. I won't play it again.
If I wasn't so busy yesterday, I would have hopped in with you and Dutch and gave you some NA servers.
I've got maybe 12 days, and I should have access to Delta Force for however long that's going to last, and I'm going to play the
Oh,
hell out of
okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
hopefully
know
you should
how
have
it
some
goes.
keys, guys, to keep your eyes peeled. Yo, Full Metal's in chat. How you doing, bro?
Is that PC only right now?
It is right
Delta?
now. Yeah, it's PC
Yeah.
only. I don't know if it's
Okay.
keyboard mouse only, but it's definitely PC only. It is coming to console eventually. It is already on mobile.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's crossplay between PC and mobile because that doesn't actually seem very fair.
No, it
Um,
wouldn't.
I know that from playing Conquer Strike on Discord, and I know I'm being matched against people on mobile phones because I'm decimating people. I was like, that's not fair. That's not fair.
No. Yeah.
But like games likely to give Call of Duty a run for some money. We've already got Valorant given the 6v6 a run. I
Okay.
think Delta Force is definitely going to put final nail in the coffin of DMZ. I really believe that.
I mean, then the nail might already be in the coffin. We just don't know it, because they haven't said anything yet. But
I was
I
done.
like there's
What I know of Call of Duty and my long time experience of Call of Duty DMZ, I'd be very surprised if it made it past the end of this year. I would be like, eat my hat surprised if it gets past the end of the year. They need to keep MWZ up, I would say, for another 12 months. They've got a dwindling player base on DMZ. That can be proven by people getting into the same lobbies again and again. And I've seen it quite
the
a lot.
only the only thing I could see is if like MWZ is such a failure that it's and maybe DMZ is doing better numbers in it. I don't know. I don't think we'd ever really know that, but that they just decided to shut down the MWZ because they know most zombie players are just going to go to the new round-based zombies, and DMZ keeping DMZ up won't matter to them. They'll just be like, yeah, just keep it up or whatever, But
I don't think they will pay for the upkeep of DMZ servers after the end of the year. I think MWZ servers will stay up simply because of the packs they sold connected to them. I'm a staunch believer that DMZ is only still open for the 2-year period because of the packs. If they had no loyalty to the customer base, or responsibility rather to the customer base regarding sales of packs, I believe DMZ would have been shut down last year.
Well, let's just say, for the sake of argument, they keep DMZ servers up, right?
Okay.
What would you even do for another year?
I know. It's not fair on the player base. You're dragging it out now. It's also not fair on content creators, because I would argue a lot of content creators probably want to move on by now.
But I don't know where people would go, like the people who play DMZ and watch DMZ. I don't know where
I don't know either. I just don't think it's fair dragging it out this long. I really don't.
Because if you turn on, like, I'm not going to name a specific streamer because I don't want to get into it, but if you say a larger streamer, right, and they're playing DMZ, they have, they just have 1,000 viewers, right? If they're playing Warzone or a different game, it's like half that if they're lucky.
It's just the way it goes as a content creator, mate.
I know. It's just crazy that many people like watching DMZ, and it tells you that they had something people were willing to play and watch, but they just didn't upkeep it.
There are more people that watch DMZ than play it these days, to be honest.
It's possible, yeah.
I would say, like, if there's 1,000 people watching, maybe 600 of them are actually playing the game. Maybe 500 of them are playing the game. It's hard to cast aspersions, but I'd argue there's more viewers than players. It feels like it. Whenever I go live with it, it's like, I don't play it anymore, G. How can you still be playing it? I've had so many people say that when I was live with it. And that was 6 months ago, mate.
Yeah, it's I mean, but I think it's kind of always been that way too, because like when I first started playing Warzone, I searched for, to learn, and I came across like these, American content creators, and they all screamed at the they get all over the top, yelling and all this. So I looked for a more calm one, and I came across Jack Frags. From Jack Frags, I found Westy and all those guys. But so I would play, but when I watched, dude, I wouldn't even watch their stream. It was like a podcast to me. I would just listen to them because their banter and their back and forth was so like funny and interesting sometimes. So I think it depends on the content creator, how many people watch versus play. But you're right. Like I watched or listened more than I played Warzone. Back then. That was Warzone 1. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think I overstreamed and burnt myself out on the game. It would have come to the same conclusion anyway, because I hate cheaters, and EU is just laced with them. That's just a fact. But I think like my own giving up of the game was down to streaming too much. Because I started at 6 hours a day, 6 p.m. at night till midnight. Then I switched it to 8 hours a day in 2 stints. So I was arguably one of the people streaming it chronologically for the longest time wise. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Not months going live on YouTube, but if you tot up all the stream times, I'm probably up there in the top 10 of people who spent time playing this game live. And it's
burnout, man.
Yeah, I just burnt myself out on it, I think. Eventually, as I said, it would have done it anyway with the cheating problem and shit. But it's sad they let it die the way it has, because it's died a slow death. It hasn't gone out in a blaze of glory, which it should have. It deserved it.
I don't get burnout quickly, but like I think I have a lot less tolerance for playing a game long term. So like if you could play with a game for someone, all day long, whatever, like that's pretty rare that you can do that. And you were streaming so you were basically playing a game all day long. But like, I've only been able to do that with like 1 or 2 people, really, just play that extended period of time in my whole Call of Duty experience. And, I see people like stream, some of the streamers every day, they're streaming for like 8 hours or something, or 7 hours. I was like, man, I get it. Like, I think for someone like Fixate, he's so big right now that it's an actual job, like, to do it. So it makes sense. Like,
it is his job. He's been doing it for 12 years, 7 hours. He's been streaming.
Yeah, put in 7 hours of DMZ, You know, and that's you clocking in and clocking out, right, in
Yes.
your job. But like some people I just see play, you know, like 8 hours, 10 hours. I'm like, man, like I couldn't do it. You know, I remember like when I first started watching you, it was right around the time GameHawk did his 24-hour stream.
Crazy bastard. I would
And
never do that, my
that was
man.
a oh man, that was the first
Heck
time I
no.
watched Hawk, and I was like, this guy's insane. Like, what do you? Why would you do this to yourself, man? Seems
Bless
like
him.
such a miserable experience, you know.
That's why I had to
But
stop in the end,
he,
mate. You could. It was coming out on stream, mate. You could like. I can't hide that shit. An open and frank gentleman. So if you go
hmm
and look at the last few streams of me doing DMZ, mate, you can tell I'm broken in those streams, man. Like fuck this game. It's a load of
oh
shit.
yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
the more I looked into game mechanics and all that sort of shit, the more angrier I get with the state of the franchise.
yeah. I could tell. I think that like there was a certain point where maybe like a month or two before you stopped is the only time I felt like you truly enjoyed it was when you were doing community days.
Yeah, pretty much, mate.
Like you know, like I know you had fun playing with just you and Dutch. Obviously, you know, you guys both very good. But I think like enjoyment out of it was like you just liked playing with other people for a little bit. That's what it seemed like to me. You
Community
just
days
seemed
were
much
great, mate.
happier in community days. Yeah.
The community days were great. They were a lot of fun. Meeting new people, playing with new people. Like best parts was like getting people who didn't consider themselves very good players or people that didn't know what to do and get them through missions. That was ace. Like when you take someone into Koshi and just rip Koshi to pieces and they're like, damn, you know your way around. Yeah, yeah, we do. But you got the mission done. Let's go. And that was what they
Right.
were about, mate. Because I can't remember who it was. It might have been me and Spartan. We took this lady through. I can't remember what her name is now. We took her through Koshi. And like an hour later, I took her husband through Koshi. It was sick.
Nice.
And we'd done it in like about 7 minutes, whatever she needed to do. Bam, 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 get the keys, go through the secret entrance, bam, 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 done. And she was like, that was incredible. I think it was kill Rhino and Sniper or something like that. And like
Okay.
extract something. I can't remember what the mission is, mate. And she was stoked. And her husband came on because he was stoked about it. He was like, damn, that was quick. Let's go. It's
Well,
great fun, man.
so
I miss them.
the community days with the right people, you know, like sometimes you get kind of a person who's whatever, but for the most part, 99% of the people that join and have fun, whatever, it creates like different experiences. Like I think that's the other appeal of DMZ we haven't really talked about is like anything can happen in that mode. Like in Warzone, you know the gas is pushing the whole time. You know you're condensing. You know you're going to do this, and you're gonna find people here.
Yes.
With DMZ, it's like you could go in a building and there's someone cramped in the corner, just camping there, waiting for anyone to come in that that little building just so they can
I
kill
know,
them, and
right?
that sucks. It's like a weird way to play the game, but the fact that it can happen is so appealing. Like, what was that time that it was me, you, and God, I can't remember who it was. Remember we were in that warehouse where you spawn at the top of the map in DMZ and El Mazrah, and like he got stuck.
Oh, me, you, and Link.
Yeah, Link. That's who. Yeah, it was Link.
Yeah. He was
And
spinning out.
like
We were trying to hit him with the
just
truck and
trying to
stuff.
figure out how to like it was a bug. It sucked, whatever. But
You wouldn't
like
get that in
driving
BR. Absolutely right.
right, like trying to just having the time to find a ATV to drive in the building to try and push them around, and all this stuff. And meanwhile, we're fighting other teams, and it sucks because it's built around a bug. But like it was still like a fun, good experience
That was
in a
funny.
weird way.
That's like
So we were playing
Go on.
last night. Me, Beer, and Jeff were playing last night, and we went to Almazy. And I used to love Almazy, but I don't really like it that much anymore because I feel like there's large periods of time you're not doing anything, and then I don't know. It's just to me, it's different than it used to be. But anyway, we were in the gas station over by the Oasis spawn. We came up on there, and we started getting shot at, and we like there was 3 dudes hiding in the bathroom of that gas station. Like just hiding
Yeah.
there. Like, what was your plan here? They all had one-shot shotguns.
That was the
And
plan, mate. Stacking.
yeah,
Overwhelming with numbers.
we ended up killing them. Like it was just like why would you hide in this bathroom in a gas station? It's so weird. Like it's so strange. But each person can play the game they like.
Yeah, boys, let's go in here and hold each other's dicks. That'll work.
Right, right. Hey, some people enjoy that.
But bro, ruddering in a bathroom is no way to play Call of Duty.
I agree. It's not for me. I wouldn't do it. Like
Oh.
I get antsy sitting anywhere for like more than 2 minutes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like so when people camp on top of high rise or camp on a building, I'm like, God, I'm so bored. Like I end up like diving off and either dying or just doing something else. But
ADHD does
um,
not permit me to rooftop camp, mate. It just doesn't.
yeah,
Oh
it's
man, no, I can't. I can't. I'll sit
I
there.
guess that's a bonus of it.
I'll get there for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll go to red, and I'll sit on red for a bit maybe, and then I'll get bored. And if I don't see anybody, I'll go back to high rise real quick, and then maybe I'll get a TV. But I can't. I can't just sit there hard scoping off a roof. I don't understand people that can. It's so boring.
That's what I do. I move from place to place. Like on Ashika, people just camp power plant.
Yeah,
And
and twins
yep.
apartments.
Yeah, what was the other place on Ashika where they like to 403, right?
Yeah,
Like
403. Yeah, down a
sometimes
hotel. Yeah.
apartments. Yeah, apartments. Like, and we played these guys last night. We came up against this team and they killed us because they all had one-shot shotguns. And like they're talking shit the whole time. They're like, "What do you guys think? You guys suck, man." And I'm like, "Dude,
Shut up, bro.
we're bored. We're fucking bored. Like we're sitting here. We could stare at each other and snipe each other for an hour, or we could push you because we know you're never getting out of this building with your little one-shot shotguns." So like
I just don't understand the gameplay style. If you got one shot, you go into a small map. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go into Building 21 if you've got that, or go in. Well, I suppose the Sheikah is the only. Or I suppose I don't know. Are they really viable on Vondel? I don't really play Vondel all that much.
Vondel's like my least played map. I think why people bring him to Vondel is for the bots, because the bots on Vondel are like,
They're just dicks.
ridiculous. They're just much easier to kill a bot with a shotgun than anything else. That's why I bring it.
Mate, you eliminate the fog, I'd have played it more.
Yeah, I think me too. There's only two places I bring one-shot or a shotgun is Building 21 because you kind of have to, and Vondel. And Vondel is for the bots.
They're extremely useful in Koshi as well.
Yeah, Koshi. I see. I don't even count Koshi anymore.
I like Koshi, mate, to be honest. I quite like it in there.
I like it. I just never, I've gone in there a bunch of times over the past month or so, and I've run into one other person one time. That's it. So I don't even think about it when I think about DMZ anymore. To me, it's like a PvE type of thing.
Well, yeah, because most people glitch out of Koshi rather than actually use it for what it's for, because there's no missions in there anymore.
Yep.
Most people have completed all the missions, so done diddly unfortunate, you know what I mean?
And I'm not going to lie, I've used the Koshi glitch in the past, but I've used it for missions, and, that's about it. But I stopped, I don't know, last year, because it was just, I was like, I didn't even want to go through it. Like, it wasn't enough benefit to go through looting all this stuff, glitching out, and it's like, what am I doing here? It's so boring.
Last time I saw Koshi glitcher was with Perth, and we wiped them and took all the gear. They had loads on them.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
That's what we do now. Yep.
It was absolutely nuts, bro. Shit like that's still in the game. It's like the Smith camp error, mate. It's like the video I put out. We put out the first podcast had 11,000 views. It's at nearly 16,000 views now. It's nuts that bug is still in the game. Like the Koshi glitch is still in the game. These map glitches under Ashika have been there the whole time. It's just been waiting for them to be discovered.
What's weird to me is they put in a rejoin feature on Resurgence, right? But they never added it to DMZ, which they could have done. Which then you could make it if you crash out of Koshi, it doesn't matter, because I think that's why they never really bothered with that glitch, is because you go through a whole map of El Mazrah and then you glitch out of Koshi, and if you lose your stuff, who's going to keep doing that?
Yeah, well, if the reconnect feature was there, you would reconnect to Koshi, wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been good. It would have stopped it in its tracks, mate. I guess that was just too much effort to implement.
I guess so. I mean, because I have, like I told you, one of I think it was the first video I ever put on my YouTube channel was like the player kicked. It would randomly get kicked all the time.
Yeah, it's an 8-minute video from what I remember.
Yeah, it's an 8-minute video of like 10-second clips. So that's how many times it happened. And that was a fraction of what I had clipped, right?
And that was a console, wasn't it?
Yep. And that happened so often, man.
God
I was like, why can't I reconnect? But at the time it was like season 1 season 2, and I liked the game so much I just dealt with it.
Yeah.
But if that happened now, I'd be like, all right, I'm not playing this game. Like, it's
Yeah,
not worth
well,
it.
like, I think unless they change their approach, their mechanics in the game, the algorithms they've got to play in the background, and give people a fair play space, I think eventually people get burnt out on Call of Duty, and it will still be released, but it won't be anywhere near as popular as it once was. Or
Yeah,
people will
well,
just take it on the chin and keep playing it. I, for one, can't. I can't do it now,
this,
man. I can't keep
the
taking.
sad part is, like I said earlier, my appeal was the community, like the people I've met, like you and everyone in chat, Shima, all those people.
Yeah.
But even that's changed. Like the people in some of these chats, like I haven't seen in a long time, like OS Full Metal, Shima, Colburn, these
Yeah.
guys. Like
That's what matters from it all.
Yeah, but I haven't seen them, so even the community's changed. Even that's different, right? It's not what it once was, because when we lose like streamers like you and people, even the streamers who are streaming, they get frustrated easier now because it's like, it's boring almost. That changes the community. People just move on and do other things, and it sucks,
Well, I had a little chat with ChatGPT earlier. I'm gonna take you through it because it was quite funny.
Okay.
But I decided to quiz ChatGPT on manipulation mechanics in Call of Duty. Just for giggle. I'll bring it up on the stream for you guys as well so you can see it, right? So first of all, I asked, is it true Call of Duty has engagement optimized matchmaking built into it? And it responded with, yes, that's correct. It uses an algorithm-based mechanic to keep players engaged for as long as possible. Essentially, it manipulates matchmaking to balance player performance, aiming to maintain as close to a 1 KD as possible. Okay? So I then asked it, is it good for Call of Duty? And it said it's subjective. All right, that's fair enough.
Right.
I said, is it true there are algorithms built into Call of Duty to encourage players to buy packs? Yes, that's correct. Activision holds a patent for matchmaking systems that encourage microtransactions in Call of Duty games. The system analyzes player trends such as latency and weapon preference to match players in a scenario that might lead them to buy certain items. For instance, if a player purchases a specific weapon, the system can match them in a gameplay session where the weapon is highly effective, encouraging future purchases. However, it's essential to note it's not necessarily implemented in the game. Yes, it is. Yeah, it will be. Activision wouldn't spend some money on something and not use it.
Right.
So I said, would it be fair to say it's rigged, Call of Duty? I wouldn't say it's rigged. Copilot said it wouldn't. I wouldn't use the term rigged. It's true. It incorporates certain mechanics to encourage player engagement and microtransactions, i.e. EOMM, that aims to keep players invested, and a pattern system that analyzes player behavior to potentially influence purchases. Okay, fine. I said, I see what you're saying, but how can I have fun when I know my damage, when I know my gun damage will basically be changed because of buying packed? And it says you should just focus on teamwork and strategy as a response. Then it misunderstood what I said. I said Call of Duty definitely has mechanics, and it said psychology. So I'm going to skip that question because it's crap. I said, sorry, you misheard me. I said Call of Duty does have game mechanics and algorithms that affect bullet damage. And it responded with, you're absolutely right. Call of Duty does incorporate game mechanics and algorithms that affect bullet damage. These factors include weapon stats, hitboxes, armor, and other gameplay elements.
Okay.
Okay, that's what ChatGPT thinks about it.
Yeah,
why would anyone want to play knowing that that's in play? You never know if you won a gunfight or not. You never know whether the person that killed you is actually better than you or if it's the game doing it for you. For me, it's an on-rails experience. You don't know what you're doing. You're guiding it, but the algorithm's doing the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in DMZ as well. People can think it's not in DMZ. Yes, it is. It will be. It will be across all game modes. Whatever they can do to get money out of your pocket, it will be there.
Well, and I guess that's what the smaller studios have to resist. But if they're making money, you don't know if they're gonna.
The studios can't resist. It's all Activision that does it. The publishers are in control. The devs aren't.
No, I meant different.
You mean
games.
smaller games?
Like, yeah, like other smaller studios.
If
they can make money, that's gonna be the name of the game for everybody, is making money.
It's incredible. A lot of people don't believe these mechanics are at play when they are, which is one of the biggest problems. When trying to bring light to the subject that this is in the game and players are being manipulated. A lot of people just say get good. No, it's fact. This is in the game, and it's one of the reasons I feel that Call of Duty will fall apart, because once you know it's there, do you know, you should probably be pissed off enough to stop.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how like to prove it, or you know what I mean, like to like definitively say that this is happening. Like for me, a much bigger issue is the cheating and the glitches, which is never gonna change because they're not supporting the mode anymore.
Well,
So
bro,
like,
well, you can argue that, but Warzone itself is infested with cheaters at the moment.
right, that's
Do you
true.
know what I mean? So they're not combating cheaters because they don't have the skill set within Activision to combat cheaters yet. Ricochet is an anti-cheat, but it's a report-based anti-cheat. What they moved away from was the Steam anti-cheat, which was not necessarily perfect, but at least it had something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Battle which is not a very good anti-cheat, is better than Ricochet.
yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit in the recording
Yeah,
that we couldn't use, and
it's
I think
like
what I said is like I'm I get frustrated by cheating and all that, but it's to me like cheating's one of those things where it's impossible to stop it. But what Call of Duty hasn't done is done enough to combat it. And like you said, they moved away. It's a reporting based system and all that stuff, right? So that has pros and cons. But if people were seeing better results or more, then I think they'd be like, okay, cheating is in Call of Duty, but whatever. But like, I played Warzone, and because I was doing a camo grind for it, the season long camo grind,
right.
and with my friend, and we ran into so many obvious cheaters, and it was like, what am I? What are we doing? You know?
It's ridiculous, mate. It's actually ridiculous. Call of Duty has one of the worst cheating problems in gaming, and it's been going on for years. There are several content creators that create content using hacks, and they've been doing it for years. Like Grandpa Hacks is one of my favorite channels
Yep.
For hack hunting, just because he presents it with no context other than this is me watching with all hacks. He's been doing his content for over a year, well over a year. If there was an active anti-cheat, it would have picked up on this guy using wall hacks. But the fact is, they're relying on reports to catch cheaters, and because he kills himself and doesn't kill anyone in the lobby, he can't get reported.
Right.
So
right.
he can continue. He is continually cheated for a very, very long time in Call of Duty, and the anti-cheat has not picked him up. Do you know what I mean?
It's Beer is actually the one who told me about him months ago, and I started watching, and I was like, man, this is crazy. I wish they could do it in DMZ, because I think there'd be a lot of interesting revelations.
Yeah,
it
may well be.
DMZ,
It may well be, mate. May well be some. Like, I wouldn't want to cast aspersions about any
No,
streams
no, no,
whatsoever,
no.
but are all DMZ streamers legit? Probably not. Would I like to
No, I
point
would
fingers
say
at ones that aren't legit? Hell no. It's very difficult to tell.
Right.
I know one fact I can say about one streamer, and that's me, and I'm legit. I know that 100%.
Yeah, me too.
And that's it. Yeah, so you can't even speak for me, mate. You don't know. You can take my word for it.
No, I
but
meant
that's as far-
myself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. The only person you know is 100% a genuine player is yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, it's I don't watch a ton of streamers anymore. Like I watch, if you stream, I watch you. I watch Dutch. I watch Beer. I Rage. Just basically the people I either play with or I've watched for a while. And obviously I wouldn't think any of them are cheating or anything. So like the ones who I do, I don't even bother watching.
Fair enough.
I could turn on a stream and within 2 minutes be like, man, why am I watching this? Like, I don't think this is legit, and I'll just won't watch.
Like ones that I would say are Stonewall not legit are people that have got like 6 KD in their description.
Right.
Because that would make them like the best in the world. Like you've got the top KD in the world, have you?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like your average decent Call of Duty CDL player and stuff, they got a KD of maybe 2, 3. And those are the big boys. So if you're coming out on stream, you're just a bedroom streamer and you've got 6 KD, 7 KD, I'd start be questioning the gameplay. That's just my opinion.
I'm not sure what Rage's KD is, right? But like he's been playing video games for a long time, so if he has a high KD, I'd expect that.
Yeah, he won't
You
be
know,
anywhere near a 6 in Call of Duty, mate. 6 in Call of Duty is
right,
god. Is beyond god tier.
right, right. So if I, I've only been playing a couple years. If I had like a 6 KD, obviously, like people would rightfully be like, "Dude, what's this? Whatever. This dude
Yeah,
just started
exactly.
playing, and he's so awesome at this game. Like, what the hell?"
Cracks me up when people
So
accidentally stream their cheats. That's funny as hell.
yeah,
Why you got red
I've
boxes,
seen a
Ryan?
couple videos of that.
Why you got red
Yeah.
boxes, right? When they accidentally hit the Windows key and bring up like the UI on the screen, like wall hacks, and it's like, oh, dude, you just sunk
Or
yourself. Yeah,
or
Aaron's
they
in
go
chat.
to
How you
aim
doing,
at
bro?
someone and it aims at somebody else. Like, hey, you're aimbot. You might want to pay a little bit more money for the next one. But
So funny, mate.
yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I haven't seen too many of those, and like I said, I don't know who or what from DMZ would be doing that. I just know there's a couple people I've watched in the past where I've been like, how do people think this is legit?
I think my
And
my KD in DMZ is like a 1.6, I think.
I wouldn't even know how to check. I'm assuming you
There's only
can,
one way to check, and you can only check it from season 2.5, and that is go to your DMZ stats and then just do the mathematics with your kills and your deaths, and that'll give you a KD.
okay, gotcha.
So if you've got like 4,000 kills to 1,000 deaths, you've got a 4 KD. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Um,
But it involves math, so I probably will stay far away from trying to do
it's
it.
just a shitty state of affairs when you've got nefarious game mechanics working against you when you're facing legitimate players, and then you've got wall hacks working against you when you're facing non-legitimate players. For me, the cheating could be dealt with very, very well. That can go away. The nefarious in-game mechanics, not so much. I honestly, it turns my stomach to know I can go against somebody, and because they've bought a pack or they put less hours into the game than me, their gun shoots stronger bullets. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
It's
right.
bullshit. I grinded to get relatively good at the game over years, getting my ass kicked in open lobbies without SBMM. And I became a better player for it. These guys having their hands held, when they go into a game that doesn't have these mechanics, they get shit on and blame the game. Do you know what I mean?
I get the frustration. Yeah.
And and it's nuts because like you can manipulate these mechanics if you want. Like you can reverse boost if you know what that is. Where you enter a lobby with a account that you've tanked and make them the lobby leader.
Okay.
Boost it when you start the lobby. Wait for it to load, then back out your tanked account, and it'll put you in a lower lobby, a lower skill level lobby. You can shit on the players.
I see.
It's stupid. So the mechanics, it can be broken, and mechanics can be manipulated. But why should you have to do that to get an organic experience like it used to be back in the day? It's bollocks, man.
Yeah, it's so funny because like the I don't know if you want to call it the morality of cheating is obviously the biggest and most blatant barrier to me cheating. Like I wouldn't do it anyway. But a close second is the technical aspect of it. Like it seems so fucking annoying, to have to go through and install these cheats and make sure whatever. I'm just like, why would anyone? What enjoyment? Are you getting that much enjoyment out of this that you're willing to go through all this nonsense just to ruin someone else's game? But a lot of people are.
Yeah, they are. And like as I said, the cheating problem can be got a grip of. It really can if they choose to invest in it. But the thing is with everything, money talks and bullshit walks. If they haven't noticed a massive decline in income because of the cheating problem, are they likely to address it at any expedited speed? I doubt it.
Probably not.
Are they going to change any of these game mechanics? Well, no, because what they've done to counteract players dropping is increase bundle prices, and people are still paying it. So buying bundles is keeping the shitty state of the game exactly where it is, and it will forevermore until they notice a massive drop in players or finance.
Yeah.
And it's just waiting until it gets to critical mass where something will change. X Defiant is pushing that on the multiplayer front. I think Delta Force is going to give Battlefield a kick up the ass, and it's also going to give DMZ players somewhere to go. What needs to happen is a decent BR, I think, that could probably give Warzone a kick up in the ass.
A
Do you know
BR?
what I mean? Although BRs are burning out for people. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I think. I think BR is like...
Warzone will die on its own.
BR is by far my least played mode.
Yeah, I would say so for me too.
You know, because so I did this camo grind. It was really nice camo for this season. But like one of the things you had to do was you had to make it to the top 10 in BR without going to the gulag,
I have to
and
go
you had
sit
to
in a
do that.
building, mate.
That you had to do that 20 times, right? So I did this with someone, and we got riot shields, which neither one of us had ever used before, and we sat in like the spot until we figured out where the circle might end up being, and then we would, like, it was the most ridiculous experience, except for the last 5 minutes of the game when it was condensed enough if we lived that long, where it was like, they laughed at me because like we'd sit and we, 20 minutes, we're waiting, and then we'd make it to the top 10, and before they could even say anything, I was out the door of whatever building we were in,
Trying to fight
like
people.
trying to hunt someone down and kill,
Good for
I
you,
was like,
bro.
fuck it, we made it, it was just like YOLO, whatever. And yeah, it was it was like, but it was such a ridiculous experience, and like, just even playing, we tried playing it normally before that, and it was, I don't know, it was just so boring.
Yeah.
Going to the gulag, and because they had never really played it before, so the gulag can be extremely frustrating, for someone who hasn't played BR, like even people who do, and
It's a
I would.
soft BR as well. It's a
Is it?
really soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you go and play a BR mode, you have to find the weapons. You don't get loadout drops and stuff like that. You don't get perks. Like, go and play PUBG BR. You find the guns in the open. You find the attachments out there as well. And you don't get a buyback. That's a proper BR. You get one shot. That's it. Like DMZ.
Okay.
No
Mhm.
revives, no nothing. If you're dead, your team can't get you back up. That's a proper BR. Like Warzone was BR light.
Okay.
Again, for accessible reasons, like DMZ was made a light extraction shooter. DMZ realistically is a sandbox mode, not an extraction shooter. It's a sandbox mode with an extraction tacked onto it.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to play a more hardcore BR.
Yeah, maybe not, mate. I quite like games that put me to the sword.
Yeah, I mean,
It, it allows you to become a better player. The harder the game is against you. So I'm playing Mordor Shadow of War, like the sequel to Shadow of Mordor.
Oh yeah, I played that. Yeah.
It's a good game, but I don't think it's not terribly difficult.
No, not at all.
Do you know what I mean?
Especially once you get to a certain power level, it's like,
yeah, once you've got a hang of like counterattacks and stuff, it's a piece of piss. I'd like it to be a bit harder. Do you know what I mean? Like Daisy's incredibly hard to get a decent foothold in, especially on a PvP server. On PvE, not so much. It's really easy if you own the server. But going into like when me and Witch went into the lab, we built up relatively quickly, but it was hard to survive and avoid other players, especially as a duo. But it puts you to the cosh, mate, which I really like. When it comes to on Carbone, I feel like Activision makes enough money in 3 months after a new title launch. The editing during the game is just profit. You're probably right there, Cobb. My soliloquy on why game state is sustained is top shelf. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Laughing Jack, what's up, bro? He likes Blackout from Blackout 4. Yeah, Blackout was a really good round. Never played it, Jack. But I hear that Blackout was a really good BR.
Yeah, I think Coleman said it too. DMZ was the extraction BR, essentially, kind of.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. No buybacks. See, like BR's become even more watered down because you get like, I don't know, there's about 1 million different ways to get back in after you're dead. Do you know what I mean? There's redeploy tokens, there's gulag tokens, there's your gulag. Oh, you've got a free gulag. It's like, how many participation medals do you need? Like, if you die, reload, get better.
Maybe I think that's kind of like the difference between like a gamer like you and a more casual gamer like myself is like maybe they have too much, but the fact that they have an option makes that game more playable to me if I'm trying.
Yeah, I can see that, mate. Yeah, I am definitely a hardcore
But I don't
gamer.
play BR just to play BR. Like the only time I played BR in the past, I don't know. Actually, I played BR ranked with Trips. I don't know if you know Trippy dude.
No,
he's
in
Rage's stream a lot, but
played, yes, yeah, I know Trip, yes,
yeah. So we played some BR last in MW2, and that was probably, but I only played it for like a couple weeks, and then I haven't touched it until I did this camo grind because we saw this camo, we wanted to do it,
Hmm.
and it was like I said, it's just not an appealing mode to me in general. Maybe when it first came out, it was great and it was new and people were having fun with it. But like now, it's to me, it's too similar. It's the condensing of the circle is essential, but to me, it's predictable. Like where people are going to be,
Yeah,
so
eventually, yeah.
it's
Once you've done enough circles, unless they rotate the circles, kind of like a really shitty one night stand, isn't it?
well, and you know what
It's fun at the time,
annoying
like, but you look back with regret.
the most annoying part of BR when I did this camo grind in the past month, the, it's the bunny hopping. They made it a mechanic. Like you actually have like attachments on guns that make jumping and ADSing like better and more powerful when you shoot your. And I'm like, this is such a dumb thing. And so
Mate,
everybody who plays this are just hopping up and down
mate, if you do
while
that
they
in
shoot
extra
you.
firing, your gun swings like a pendulum.
Yeah, that's
In
what it
it,
should be.
fucking right, it should be, mate. What have you got? What have you got? Like, you got sprinter's legs, mate, and weightlifter's strength in your arm that you can
Right.
bunny hop a million times and keep a straight shot. Jog on, bro.
Yeah,
And
just
it's
jump
little
around the
quality of
corner
life
hopping.
things than that make extra fighting better than Call of Duty from a gunplay perspective. It's little bits
Yeah.
like that. Like, it's annoying there's no drop shot in extra fighting.
Mm.
But it's a good game overall. But obviously, being a 66, you wouldn't enjoy it. Um, but the game mechanics, I believe, are a lot better in that game. There's no SBMM for a start, mate.
The reason I don't mind drop shotting is because when it's in your mind, you can counter it pretty easily, right? You can anticipate it, you can, whatever. With the
Yep.
bunny hopping, like you have to every time someone does it, you have to like be able to track them, which on controller is much harder than probably on a mouse, right? Like, someone jumping up and down.
No, it's easier
And
on
I'm
controller
like,
because of aim assist.
maybe I don't I feel like aim assist kind of like
It,
overall, but not where you because like when someone's bunny hopping, right, to counter it, you kind of need to shoot them in the head, and I don't think aim assist is great for that, like the specific type of aiming. But I don't know enough about it, but I just hate it. Like I was like, why is this a thing, man? It's probably one of the reasons I don't play Resurgence or BR as much as I used to.
yeah. I
It's the
I see the benefits of aim assist, but I'll still say keyboard mouse is better. As someone who has
Yeah.
been a lifelong controller player with aim assist, aim assist is a lot stronger than it used to be.
So what's funny is when I played, like I wanted to snipe when I first started playing Call of Duty, and aim assist doesn't help with sniping, right?
No, it doesn't.
So,
You don't have aim
uh,
assist on a sniper, no.
like I never understood the big deal about aim assist until I learned to rush, But then I would see at the time I was playing on a PS4, and the most FOV you could have on a PS4 was like 80 or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So like people were complaining about like the aim assist, and then like Westy, he always complained about it a lot. And I love Westy, but he always complained about aim assist. And I'm like, he's got a computer with 120 FOV, and I'm like, your reticle's not even moving, and you're beaming this dude from like 100 meters away with an AR.
Mouse and
Because
keyboard,
there's no visual recoil.
I would say mouse and keyboard is superior up to the point where you're about between 10 and 20 meters away.
Probably, yeah.
I can acquire
That makes
targets
sense.
faster. I can move faster. There are instances in game I know I wouldn't have got away from the fight if I was a controller player.
Right.
And I think because I was a controller player for so long before switching to keyboard and mouse, I think I'm in a good position to cast an opinion on it. To be honest,
Okay.
especially after what I've been playing with controllers since Mega Drive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I would argue hands down you cannot say a aim assist isn't overpowered close up, but at a distance, I think keyboard and mouse would win.
Yeah, I think aim assist also can screw you up too.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it'll target something you're not trying to target. That's why I the thing is I tried playing it with it off, and it's just impossible to play on controller with aim assist off. Like it's just not,
Some people can
it's
do it, some people can't. I'm not somebody. I
yeah,
tried it without aim assist, and I honestly I felt like I was playing with noodles.
yeah, it was not a lot of fun, and but I also can't snap on targets like people can on mouse and keyboard, right? So there's a trade-off, pro and con
Yeah,
to everything.
you just don't.
So
You won't have the same movement speed. Like
yeah,
if
like
we
the
had a
movement aren't
parkour
good.
race in an open map on Call of Duty that had lots of twists and turns and stuff in it, I'd probably beat you.
Oh
You
yeah, I'm sure you would. Yeah.
like both of us knives out running. Yeah, I think the keyboard and mouse would be superior just because of speed. If you had like 180s and stuff in it, where you had to come back on yourself, I could turn so much faster.
Yep. Yep. When you played on controller, do you remember what sensitivity you played on?
7.7 with an ADS multiplier of 0.7.
Okay, I think I'm at like 11. I
Yeah,
don't even
that'll
know,
give you
maybe
faster
10.
movement. But if I jack
Yeah.
my keyboard mouse up, or the thing with the button mouse, I've got DPI button. So if
Oh
I play
yeah.
on 1200
Exactly.
DPI and I want to boost my speed quickly, I can just click, my movement speed anyway. I can just click up to 1600 DPI and I can spin faster all of a sudden. And then just click back down for when I want to shoot.
Yeah, that's another thing that always cracked me up about that debate. Like, people on mouse and keyboard are like, "Oh, you got aim assist." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't have a mouse with like 1,000 point, DP, like a million DPI
And
and
you're absolutely right in that
custom
argument.
curves and all this stuff."
I don't use custom curves. I don't really understand them, so I'm not going to mess with them, and I can't bother to research them.
Yeah,
But you're absolutely right. You don't have ungodly movement like a keyboard mouse player. I can 180 in less than a tenth of a second. Do you know what I mean? You can't.
right, right.
All it takes for me is to move my mouse like 3 to 4 inches, and I've done a full 180. And when you flick it, it's even faster.
Yep,
Mastering
yep.
it is extremely difficult. I'm still nowhere near a top tier keyboard mouse player, mate. Not by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm getting better. And for me overall, if like not in a 6v6 tournament, I'd probably say I'd use controller just because of close quarters. But in a big open map situation, keyboard mouse every time.
I've thought about trying keyboard and mouse like on the Xbox, but I would have to go buy a keyboard and
Input lag is a real thing. I can tell you that after playing Call of Duty on PC.
Okay.
I didn't notice it when I was a console player because I'd never played Call of Duty on PC before, but having done quite a few hours on DMZ on my PC now, yeah, input lag is a real thing with keyboard, mouse, and control console.
Gotcha.
It feels a bit sluggish compared to PC. PC feels
That makes
crisp.
sense. Yeah. So what is it that affects that? Is it the GPU or the
I have no idea, mate.
CPU?
To be honest, it must just
Yeah.
be the way the USB controller speaks to the Xbox and the way the game
Okay.
processes it. I guess it's not. It's not even like something you'd be able to see with your eye. You just know. Do you know what I
You
mean?
just feel it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
just
felt
feel it.
I felt a lot freer playing on keyboard mouse on PC, which is weird because I had the same inputs. I just connected them to a different device,
Yeah.
so nothing's going to change. Do you know what I mean? What do you reckon?
I'm
Go on.
I was just gonna say I'm so used to controller now, and I don't even know if I would enjoy playing on mouse and keyboard, even if I got good at it. Because like one of the things I like doing is like leaning back in my chair and have my controller, and chilling, whatever. It's like for mouse and keyboard, you have to like be in almost a certain position.
No, you have to have a good desk setup, mate. You really do. It's like once you've
Yeah,
got it set and it's right, you can get quite comfortable, and then you can just lean on the desk and relax and sort of melt into it. But I see your point of just chilling out with a controller, sitting back.
yeah. It's well, I used to play when I first started playing Call of Duty. I played on a 65-inch television.
Oh
Right, that was like
Jesus!
my, and this is a PS4.
Yeah.
65-inch TV. So the
Wow.
FOV was 80 with like a
Yep.
huge. And then I got the Xbox, and it was, actually I had a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, and I liked the X better, so I sold the PS5. But they obviously looked better. I had better FOV,
Yeah.
and then I went to a monitor,
It's much better.
it's a 32-inch curved monitor, and it's
That's what I got.
so much better.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
a MSI curved 32. It's excellent, mate. I love my monitor.
yeah,
I
mine's
think
Samsung.
I think I'd rather have a 24 to be honest. For less
Oh,
head
yeah.
movement.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, I'd love a 4K 24-inch curve. That'd be sick.
I just didn't know if I went from a 65-inch TV to like a 20-something inch monitor, it would feel so small.
A bit of a shell shock, right? Yeah, I
So
feel you.
yeah, I felt like 32 curved would be a good and I never used a curve before, and I love it. Like it's great. The only thing I wish sometimes is that it had built-in speakers, so I didn't have to wear my headphones. Because sometimes I just don't want to wear them.
I've got a
But
soundbar for
I could
that.
get speakers.
I've
Yeah,
got
I
a
was thinking about getting
I've
one.
got a 3.5 mil jack to a 3.5 mil jack cable that goes in the headphone socket and then into the input on the soundbar. That's it. I could use Bluetooth to
I'm
be fair.
I might have to get that set up from you.
It's literally, mate. This is
Sometimes.
a Philips soundbar that I bought. I don't know, maybe a decade ago.
Oh, nice.
And I used it for my PS4. It was used for my Xbox, and now it's being used for my PC.
It was so funny because that setup I had originally with the PS4 and the 65-inch TV, it was just the TV speakers I used,
Yeah,
right? And I learned to get better at the game, and I got better and all that. But till I put headphones on and played that way,
yeah.
it was a totally different, like
It's a
immersive
massively
type of
different experience.
experience.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like
Which I should have
with
known.
headphones, you can tell if someone's above you or below you, and that sort of stuff. Whereas with a TV speaker, no, all the sound gets muddied into this glorious goop, doesn't it? Do you know
Well,
what I
as
mean?
like a drummer and a musician, music lover, all that, like I should have realized, hey, I should be using a headphone.
Yeah,
You're so much better. I just didn't even think about it.
7.1 surround sound headphones are incredible.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
It's been a journey for Call of Duty and, and
Yeah.
TMZ for
Well, yeah.
sure, man.
What do you reckon the future is, mate? I think the future of Call of Duty is it does have one, but if they don't sort it, it's not going to be a very bright one.
I
I think.
think it's kind of like it's at the point it's so big, it's like almost is it too big to fail type of thing, Like if people will always play it as long as they put out a game. Um,
Define fail. Do you know what I mean? We've got to a state where the game used to have a live player count on the options screen. They're so embarrassed about playing numbers they don't even tell people. We're coming off the back of 6 years of them going, SBMM doesn't exist, to yes, it does exist. And then releasing a really, really legalese worded thing about what SBMM is, which didn't even really describe what SBMM is. It was just bullshit, really. Failure, it can be deemed or can be measured on so many levels, and I think a player base falling from millions down to like, I don't know, 60,000 could be considered failure.
yeah, I would say I just mean like they're always going to make a game and people will always buy it.
I think so. It's
As
just
long as they make a game, people will buy it.
I wonder what the threshold of them is going to be where they're like, we need to stop the yearly cycle, because I think that would be the first thing to do before it dies. Because you look at games like Fortnite that have had storyline cycles, but not cycles of different engines, inverted commas, engines, to force people to pay 70 quid every year. Because that's the state we're at right now. You are buying
Which game were you talking about?
a game like Fortnite. Fortnite has,
Oh, Fortnite.
yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't update yearly. If it does, you're not charged for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Call of Duty, since Modern Warfare 2 now, and it's going to go into this year, you are paying for a skin and a movement update, $70 if you're a multiplayer player. That's all it is. It is a copy and paste job. It's not a new game anymore.
I think the best thing they could have done was leave MW or make M whatever side of the fence you're on, whether it was ever going to be a 2-year cycle for it or not. But if MW2 had been a 2-year cycle, I think that would have done really well for their PR. I think it would have kept a lot of people happy, as long as they kept putting out content for it.
Yeah, it's like what XDefiant is going to do. XDefiant is not going to release a new XDefiant next year, or the year after that, or
Right.
even the year after that. They're just going to continually add and cycle content within the game, which is what Call of Duty should do. They have got a backlog of maps, a huge backlog of maps. They're not making new ones because they keep bringing the old ones back, right? So why can't they
Right.
just release a client that is themed every year that you don't have to pay for, and then just cycle these old maps throughout the year and add new ones in when they can? Stop focus. Like,
Well,
you've got a million packs ready to shoot at people. Why the are you putting out a $70 game every single year?
Well, so this is the bullshit with the corporate and shareholder type mentality, right? Because
Yes.
their mind, they wanted to generate. So the other part of MW2, if they had left it a 2-year cycle, it would have naturally built anticipation for the next game, and that's with anything. That's not just video games, right? If you let people like enjoy something, they're gonna want more of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with MW2 is they never changed changed enough of it to make it the next MW3 iteration, whatever you want to call it, and a big anticipation for it. So if they had left it and there had been some sort of anticipation, that had built up naturally, that would have done well
Yeah.
for Activision and Call of Duty. But they tried to generate it, which is a corporate mentality, like, oh, you know what, we're going to put out this game and we're going to say we're doing all these things. And when it came out, like, people, even before it came out, people just watching the information about it, they're like, this is an expansion. Like, you're trying to sell us an expansion.
Even Black Ops 6 is an expansion, mate.
Yeah, but like MW3 was like a light expansion. You know what I mean? Like,
it was. It was a tack on 100. Like, there's no ambiguity there. It was 100% the same game with updated movement.
Yeah, and it was, you know,
and it's like, arguably we are going into Modern Warfare 2 Part 3 now. It's just being painted as Black Ops. Treyarch are making the game, yes, but it is an Infinity Ward engine. It's the same engine. It's
Fontaine just said DLC. That's what I was thinking. DLC.
Yeah, it is DLC. It is DLC. Like, the engine hasn't changed that much since 2019. It really hasn't. You could argue it's still the same engine with updates. So they are still repackaging the same shit and selling it to us every year. And so many people are like, yay!
So that was what convinced me that MW3 was a DLC, was the carry forward. That was it, because they'd never done that before.
No,
right?
And it won't happen this time. Even though it can, but it won't.
Right. I mean, they're letting you do it in Warzone, because Warzone's kind of a different entity and all that, so you'd be able to use all your stuff. But the carry forward, I was like, man, that's so obvious what's happening here. Like, this wasn't an intended game, like full-fledged game, and you're pissing people off because whether you said it or whatever, you let it be out there that it was going to be a 2-year cycle.
Yes.
Now you're shoving a game down their throat, and you can't do it, and not tell them that the stuff they just bought, assuming it would be a 2-year cycle, they can't use anymore.
Yeah. Again, that's down to news outlets. People got it in their heads it's a 2-year cycle. It came out from leakers that it was a 2-year cycle. As I said earlier in the stream, Activision never confirmed it.
Well, if it wasn't going to be a 2-year cycle, then at the very least, MW3 was a planned DLC, because it wasn't a planned full-fledged game. And I think the other part of that is the campaign itself was so shitty in MW3. Like, that's another proof in my mind that this was not intended to be a full-fledged game at any point.
MW3, the multiplayer for that was made back in 2020. The multiplayer you're playing this year is 4 years old. What they did in 2020 was remaster Modern Warfare 2, but they never, ever, ever released the multiplayer portion of that game. What did we get this year? Modern Warfare 3 stocked full of Modern Warfare 2 maps.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Why the fuck is Modern Warfare 3 stocked with Modern Warfare 2 maps? It's because it was the content they had created 4 years ago that they didn't release. Do you know what I mean? They put no work into this game and still charged everybody top dollar. Fuck Call of Duty, man. Fuck Activision. I'm done with the franchise, man. I'll play it free on Game Pass and see how manipulative it is and shit it is. But me personally, I hope people wake up and the franchise burns to the fucking ground. The amount of piss they've taken out of good upstanding people that just want to play a video game it's just astronomical. What they did to the zombies community this year is a fuck you. They didn't take Outbreak and build on what they had there, because you had Outbreak and you had sort of round-based zombies at the same time, from what I understand. But they gave people a watered-down version of DMZ with no PvP, replaced a lot of the bots with zombies, even kept the same fucking loot pool, and then abandoned it not very long into its life cycle after releasing packs for it.
So I agree with everything you said, but at the same time, like, this is such an odd moment for me, because like I agree with everything you said, but on the stream you're showing a video of like when you played DMZ, right?
Yep.
And what just came up as you're saying how shitty this game is at times is one of my favorite moments I've ever had playing this game. It was when you were dead. Yeah, that is
actually me and you playing. Yeah.
It was when you were dead at an Oasis, and that dude had the crossbow, the exploding crossbow tips, and I kept running over and hitting you, and running away, and running over and hitting you, and I got you up that way, just doing it that way. That was one of my funnest moments I've ever had playing this game. So while you're saying and you're like, oh, what they've done to zombies, they fuck you, and this. I'm in my head, I'm like, yes, he's absolutely right, and then I look down, and this is one of my favorite moments, and I go, but this game can be so fucking good at
But
times, like it's so fun,
and that's where the question comes in, where the good times outweigh the bad. And for me, all the bullshit behind it and all the crap that I had to put up with when playing the game has destroyed it for me after years and years and years and years. What, 2007? So how long is that? That's 17 years I've been playing this game.
Yeah.
17
See, that's
years.
a lot. That's a lot longer than me, so I get it. I completely get it.
And from what it was to what it is, no, sir. I don't subscribe. You don't get the job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there's no way for you to replicate my experience ever. Even if you went back and played every title start to finish, you will never have the years that I had with each individual game. We used to be hyped for the yearly release. We did. It used to be like, oh, sick, the new game's coming out, let's go. But over the years, they haven't innovated enough because of that yearly release cycle. They burnt out on innovation.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You played Modern Warfare, and then Black Ops came out, and Black Ops introduced Dive to Prone for the first time. It's like, ooh, I'm excited for this innovation. And then you had Modern Warfare 2 come out that introduced Spec Ops and other gameplay mechanics. And that was like, ooh. And there was like new lethals came into that game. I think that might have been the first game that had thermal sights. And then Black Ops 2 came out that had some other bits and bobs, like I can't remember what they were now. But these games innovated, and over time, because of the speed of innovation, they ran out of it. And then they've propped up their game with shitty mechanics, making players feel that they're better than they are, and other players make them feel like they're worse than they are. Obviously, the people that play the game the most, the longest time, get more punished by these mechanics. Because the nature of the mechanic is to keep you engaged in the game. If chronologically and gameplay-wise you're engaged without the mechanics on your side, you will be on the thick end of the wedge more often than not. So, like,
yeah, that makes sense.
I'll put it in it, like, from my perspective, Activision will look at my account when I was a streamer and go, 40 hours a week player, doesn't matter if he gets shit on. He just faced a cheater and still kept playing. So what do I need to keep this player engaged? What do I need to do to keep him playing? Well, fuck all. Okay. But what about all these players that he comes across that only play 5 hours a week? What do we need to do to keep them engaged? Well, we need to make sure that they don't lose this fight against this player. So we're going to make sure his bullets fire half of what they should. His plates are a third down as well. And the other player he's facing, he's going to have a 25% buff on his bullets and his plates. That is, in English, what's actually happening within the game right now, across all modes.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And you just nutting a wall. You're headbutting a fucking wall, mate. And as I say, the longer you play, the better you get, the more you're punished. What's the fucking point? Welcome in, Morgoth. How you doing, bro? And that is the setup of the game.
What's the fucking point? Hey, Morgoth, what's up?
ADHD at work, mate.
Great juxtaposition there.
It begs the point. What's the point in getting better?
Yeah,
what's the point in spending longer?
So you were just talking about like the anticipate. You guys used to anticipate a new game and all that. Yeah. And see, I've never had that experience. I don't think, because the only games that have come out since I started playing, only new iterations were MW2 and MW3, right? So MW2 was like, oh man, it's gonna be cool. I was looking forward to the new Warzone. So I was like, man, it's gonna be good, whatever. But I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait for this new game to come, because I was still enjoying Warzone 1, and MW19, like whatever. And then when MW3 came out, I was just like, I'm like, I don't really. The only thing that appealed to me was the concept of the movement change.
Yeah,
because the movement is so slow comparatively in MW2. But I will say this for the movement. As much as the frustrating as the movement is in DMZ, going back and forth from playing MW3 because it's so smooth and fast in that game, I think the slower movement is almost like perfect for DMZ.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the DMZ. I feel like it might not be what it was designed for, but I feel like it appeals to people like my age that are a bit slower. Like, just want to chill out a little bit more. That's who it appealed to, but that's not who ended up playing it.
Yeah, but I got off the subject a little bit. Like I was just saying, like I've never had that anticipation,
Yeah,
and
well,
really,
back
so I've
then,
never
mate,
had the letdown.
we didn't really have any internet or anything like that, so new game cycles back then were embraced. You didn't have like a plethora of content at your fingertips like you do these days. Streaming services were in their infancy, if there were even streaming services at the time. Well, I suppose there was. It was Netflix. Um, so the yearly anticipation was a breath of fresh air because once you would get 4 map pack releases back in the day, and they'd have like 3 or 4 maps each. Um, and not many game modes. So once a new game came around, you might get a new game mode and stuff. So it was exciting anticipation, I guess, more because the world was probably less entertaining back then. Do you know what I mean? There's less available. So maybe that's why
Yeah,
we were really excited. But in this day and age, especially as having been a long-term player, it's just boring. And it's unnecessary these days. Like selling multiplayer is unnecessary these days.
right.
It should be free. Call of Duty should be a free franchise across the bat. Every single mode is free except for multiplayer.
Well, it's gonna be free for me on Xbox.
Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
oh mate, it depends what type of Xbox account you've got, depending on what you'll get. Because there's
True,
three
that's
there's
true.
three different tiers for Call of Duty. It's all getting very very complicated. Where it should actually
I
be
have
really
the
easy.
ultimate or whatever. Yeah.
What they need to do is make it free to play and then just stuff all the bundles and keep them cycling. They'll make bank.
Yep.
They would make bank.
Dude, I always thought, this is we're going way off here now, but I always thought they were having a missed opportunity by not letting people be able to create their own type of operator and customize it.
Mate,
Like
we've
sell
had
bundles,
bro, we
things,
had stuff like that back in the day, like Black Ops 1. You could create your own emblem. And if you're any good at
okay.
it could be anything. I made Super Mario on my emblem. I made Sonic the Hedgehog on my emblem. People were making dicks. But it was basically like
Of
clip
course.
art editing, but with shapes. And you could change
Right.
the color of the shapes and stuff, and you just mess around. And you could that was innovation and cool little things for the players. Like back in the day when you bought a skin pack, right? It wasn't a bundle like it is today. It was you bought a skin that went on every single gun, a reticle for every single gun. It was
Right.
interchangeable. I bought the bacon pack because I love bacon. Um, and it had a reticle that was a slice of sizzling bacon, and that would work on any red dot sight. The skin was obviously frying bacon, and that would work on any single gun.
Nice.
They used to do stuff like voice packs, like Snoop Dogg voice packs, and like the sergeant face packs. But these packs were like £2.50,
Mm-hmm.
and they went all over. They went at everything. Are you telling me that since like 2010 and now, it costs 10 times more to build a pack? No, it doesn't. It costs literally no more to build a pack, especially with AI now doing it. So you
It's I don't
and
I don't know if it's
go on.
go ahead.
No,
No,
you
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're right,
I was
mate. Go
just
on.
saying I don't know if it's a corporate thing, like, but they just don't see the value in letting people do what they want to do, like and play, like make some, like if you think about it, the concept is stupid because we can't even see our operators,
No,
right?
you pay for a pair of gloves.
Right, exactly. So like, the fact that people are willing to do that, should tell you that there's so much money to be made in letting people just create whatever they think they look like.
Yeah.
Really, the only way we know what our operator looks like is if we see it on someone else's stream or someone else's view, right? Like, there's no way for us to know. They could be selling us a blank, just a white outfit or whatever, and we
Mm-hmm.
we would never know, you
No.
know.
And they're infinite. Once it's produced, they can reproduce it as many times as you want, as they want.
Right?
And it's
Just
just pure profit. And yeah, everyone in
like
chat
my
is saying
name's
it's corporate. It's 100% corporate. Yes, it is. It's like
yeah,
with Helldivers back earlier in the year. That was a way for Sony to blow smoke up their shareholders' ass. Right, we've managed to convert 300,000 people on Steam into PSN accounts. We've got 300,000 new signups this quarter. Bollocks. Fuck off, mate. And your shareholders are too dumb and stupid to see what's happening, I think. Like the Helldivers thing was literally to make up numbers on the PSN network to look good for shareholders. That was it. That's what it was all about.
right.
It was nothing to do with security. It was nothing to do with cheater tracking or like player engagement. It was nothing to do with that. It was just to look good to shareholders. Fuck the players. No, there's what 140 countries people lost access to that game, or we're going to lose access to that game because PSN is
Yeah.
banned in those countries.
crazy.
It's nuts. They revoked it, thankfully, but I mean, not after an awful lot of downvotes on Steam, and it's just tone deaf. It's like fuck the few. No, we're going to support the few and big up the few to fuck the masses, and it's like that's bollocks to you. I've only played it with Full Metal since that happened. That's the only time I stopped playing a little bit before anyway because I like Helldivers, not enough to play it every day, and that just made me just go, "What the fuck, bro? How can you like these
Yeah.
people that have bought the game? How can you just cut them off like a diseased hand because you want to increase your player count on PSN?" And you've got like EA. You can blame EA for actually creating EOMM off the rip. They're the ones that first started doing it.
Yeah, my experience is so limited with all that stuff. Like I wouldn't even know like mostly how to recognize it.
Well, EOMM
Uh,
was designed, I think, by a group of like Far Eastern scientists, and it basically determines that if you win, you'll turn the game off. If you lose, you'll turn the game off. What they found is that anticipation keeps people playing. So close wins, close losses. They found out that people were more likely to stay on if they experienced loss, win, draw in that sort of repetition or something like that.
Right.
They've got like entire like diagrams and shit on how it works and how it manipulates players. And in FIFA, if you speak to Roscoe, one of my mods, he'll tell you, mate, like he'd be playing against players and his squad would like lose speed or they wouldn't shoot as accurately, and the other team would batter the shit out of him. But what it does is having this uncertain loop is it breeds the just one more game into your mind without you even realizing it.
Right.
Because if you go on a win streak, you'll get bored. Eventually, you'll turn the game off. If you get on a losing streak, you get frustrated and turn it off. But if you draw, well, next game I'm going to get better and I'm going to win. Then you win. Sweet, I won. And the next game you lose. Well, I'm not ready to get off yet. I don't want to go to bed on a loss. And you'll get a draw. Oh, okay. One more game, I'll get a win this time. And then you'll get another loss. Because it knows that if you get a win, you might decide to turn off. And then it'll give you a win next. Do you know what I mean? That's how it works.
So...
and that's how Call of Duty works. The same mechanics.
This will have a point in a minute, but like it's kind of like a side point. And so, but I'm gonna get to it. When you play single player games, right?
Yes.
Do you replay them? Do you find like after you beat it, do you go back and play it again at all?
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. It depends. Are you talking about 100% platinum trophy in the game or just completing the story mode?
Just complete, like if like say the game, I don't know, what was it, the Jedi Survivor game, right? If you played that and beat that, would you go back and just play it again? Just
if I enjoyed it, mate. Do you know how many times I played Grand Theft Auto 3 from start to finish? Ridiculous amount of times. Grand Theft Auto 4 too.
Okay. Because I'm different. Once I beat it, I don't. So
no, because there's certain things. If you look under your trophies, mate, I always try and get as many trophies as I can if I was on PSN. Do you know what I mean? Or as many achievements as I can on Steam. So I'll go back and I'm a completionist. I haven't really 100%ed many games because I've just like lost interest or whatever. But I'll try and 100% as many games as I can.
Like, I was just curious because you were saying
Easter eggs and shit. Go on.
Yeah, because you were saying if you win too much, then you stop playing it. To me, when I beat a game, I've won, so I stop playing it.
Yeah, but I'm talking from a competitive PvP perspective, not single player story modes. EOMM is not in. It won't have an effect. You know what I mean? I'm talking like the EOMM algorithms only apply for online games at all.
Okay.
Because like usually I'll play a game on normal and then I'll up the difficulty, play through it there because there's different things you can unlock. There might be different like items available, like different weapons or something on a higher difficulty.
Right.
The stakes can be increased. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just
go on
thinking of like the psychology of it, like to me when I like you saying like when you win and win and win, you don't play anymore, right?
Yeah.
So to me, with a single player game, when you beat it, you've won, and I don't play it anymore. So yeah. I was like, I agree. Like when you win and win and win,
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I guess I misinterpreted what you said the first time around.
I
totally agree. If
you know,
yeah, and that's the same for EMM. You won't get a 10 win streak in Call of Duty probably ever. The game will make sure of that.
Right.
Yeah,
because I'm convinced like some of the better quote unquote better streamers or people who I wouldn't say better, but people who kill a lot of people on stream, like when they're playing DMZ or Warzone, whatever. Mm-hmm. If they weren't streaming, they wouldn't be playing the game.
No,
because they've won, right? Yeah.
I think 100% of DMZ streamers, if they weren't streaming, wouldn't play DMZ. I think that because of how long they've been playing DMZ now. The burnout is real. I'm just a vocal person on it. I know most content creators are burnt the fuck out on DMZ. And I would argue most of them
how can you not be?
I would argue most of them want the servers turned off so they can walk away from it, to be honest. I know I can't say that's a fact, it's just my feeling. I've spoke to some streamers that I'm not going to mention.
Like drug addicts.
And they much rather DMZ be turned off. Quite a few, actually.
It's because it's money, right? Like, if they weren't making money doing it, then they wouldn't be doing it, right? So
yeah. And I feel for those guys because they feel trapped.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
like for me, like stopping playing hurt my channel massively, like massively. But I'm not gonna do it. I guess I put myself above anything else when it came to it, finances or anything like that. If I showed you the decline of my channel, you'd be like, "Fuck." Do you know what I mean? You'd probably be quite shocked.
Dude, when you said you were gonna stop doing it, I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, "It's just something about DMZ. It's just uniquely watchable, right?"
Yeah,
so like when you said you were gonna stop doing it, I was like, "Man, I hope he comes back to it, or I hope he's able to compensate for what's good." Because I would just be in chats, and like I said, if people weren't playing DMZ, the channels died.
Yeah, it's just the way it is, mate. Sadly, it is just the way it is. I'll be back with Delta Force. I've got other games. I'm gonna start going on ADHD a bit more and just start streaming a bit more now. I've got my life and stuff that need to be sorted a bit more in order.
But what do you think it is about DMZ that makes it so drastically different, watchable for people?
I think the risk. I think it's the risk. The no buybacks. The one shot deal. Yeah. The fight to get your teammates back. One of them's full dead.
No, not playing it, watching it. Like, what makes it?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's it.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's risk versus reward. That's why people like it's high tension, isn't it? It's all high tension. Like with BR, it's like I got stomped. I'm going back. Okay, next round. With DMZ, it's like a fight can last 20 minutes in DMZ. Because of the lack of buybacks and the lack of redeploys and shit like that. Because like I kill someone in DMZ, they're on the floor and they're going to stay there until they get picked up. I kill him in BR, he could parachute above me because he's been brought back, which makes it more faster paced. I think DMZ is a lot more tactical based, which is why people like to watch it as well. How people rotate, people like to learn.
Yep, that's. I think that's it.
With BR, it's smash and grab every single time. It's like you can learn to manipulate parts of the map and stuff with BR, but it's like it's different with DMZ. The way fundamentally the game is played is completely different.
I will watch a streamer who is more tactical with DMZ in their approach to it, and I'll take them getting 5 to 9 kills in a match over someone who just goes in and kills everybody, 15, 20 kills, with no tag. They just, magically happen to know where everybody is, and then leave. Because the strategy, the tenseness of the, being strategic and tactical to me is more interesting than, just someone who wrecks an entire lobby and leaves.
You can have a good round of DMZ on the stream without even seeing another player.
Yeah, you can.
You can. It's possible. A good loot run or something like a good regain run and an exfil with no kills can still be quite like wow to watch, depending on what happens. Because like bots can make it extremely tensioned, especially if they over swarm you. Like there's like 50 bots or something. Do you know what I mean? And it's unique. It's unique in a game mode, but I don't think we'll see it again.
Probably not. I mean, I just a lot of times I won't even watch a stream. I'll just listen to it.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of especially if it's like when you and Dutch were playing, I would just like listen to you guys banter back and forth, and have,
I like playing with Dutch. She's fun.
Whatever. Yeah, it's just funny. But yeah, it's like if you have the right mix of personalities, it's obviously anything with Maui, right? Like he's yeah,
Funny
he's
guy,
like
man.
pure entertainment, you know. So like I play with Maui and beer a lot, and that's a lot of fun.
Mal's funny, man.
Um,
Mal's a
but
good
yeah,
guy.
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. I mean,
Um,
like, it's a shame. I think, like I said, it'll never be back. One caveat: if they think they can get nostalgia bait out of it, maybe it will. But I don't think the player base is big enough for them to restock it, and I don't think the player base, especially if they look around at alternatives that are going to be here by the time they may even consider a DMZ2. I don't know. I think the player base will be scattered across other games.
I think there'll be a DMZ eventually. I just don't think it's gonna be with Black Ops. The
No, it
only
won't be.
time
Oh,
I
100% not going to be Black Ops. DMZ, people need to understand and realize that it's an Infinity Ward property.
exactly.
And Treyarch will not touch it with a barge pole. Treyarch were shoehorned into making NWZ, for God's sake. They didn't want to make that game. They were building Black Ops. What do you think it got abandoned
Yep.
by Treyarch and handed over to Raven after like a month or two or whatever it was? Because they didn't want to fucking do it. They were shoehorned and told what to do by Activision, which is why they no longer have their own engine, which I think is an absolute crime. One of the best things, one of the only, redeemable things about the yearly cycle was that Treyarch had their own engine. And the games felt completely different. They're not going to have that anymore.
Right, right.
What made Treyarch games unique has been deleted, mate. Gone.
Yeah.
So you've taken the only sort of mixed part of the identity of Call of Duty and eradicated it, and you've just made another copy and paste version of the same shit with a Black Ops 6 tag on it.
They're making such a big deal about the new movement in the DMZ and Black Ops 6 coming up, and like I look at that and go, "Oh no!"
Keyboard mouse players should be able to move like fucking Raiden, mate.
Yeah, like
doing like pirouettes
like,
through the fucking
God.
air and shit. That's what keyboard mouse players should be doing. You ain't gonna be able to do that with controller, not as quickly anyway. Depending on how the spin mechanics works, it's my understanding you should be able to do a 360 lateral and horizontal spin at the same time.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Jack, I totally believe Black Ops is going to be trash, mate. I'm 100% with you on that. It is Modern Warfare 2019 Part 5 with updated mechanics. I don't think it's going to be very good at all. I think you're still going to have manipulative game mechanics. I still think ERMM is going to be heavily at play. I still think bundles are going to be the focus of the game, not the actual freaking game. If you want to call it as it really is, Call of Duty at the moment is a storefront with a game attached to it. Peace out, Aaron. Take it steady, man. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
And that's what it is. It's a storefront with a game. The game is secondary to the store. And the sooner people get a grasp of that and stop buying packs in the rates that we are, the better the game will get.
Yeah,
I have to do something to pull players back in to make money. I mean, as I said earlier in the stream, turning up the price on packs is only... it's a quick fix. It's a plaster over a very, very big hole.
I don't have the only experience I have of Black Ops was Cold War.
The last Treyarch game, yeah.
It was the one Call of Duty game that I actually had or bought or played that I didn't finish the campaign.
Did you not like it?
Like it was, there was this like mini game aspect to it that where like you had to listen to recordings or something and like find clues, you know, and like you know just answer these questions. I forget how it was. It was just like this little mini game mechanic to it, and I just hated it. I was like, I just want to play a Call of Duty campaign. I don't want to do like this other stuff, you know. And it wasn't interesting enough in my mind to keep me, interested enough to play it.
That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I would say that you are an Infinity Ward fan, not a Treyarch fan.
Probably, yeah, probably.
That's probably where you sit. It was a very clear divide back in the day.
I see. That makes sense.
You're either.
I know I'm not a Sledgehammer fan. I know that for sure.
Sledgehammer, unfortunately, mate, were given a very, very thick end of the wedge when it came to making the game. Because they were basically given... Sledgehammer is Infinity Ward support studio.
Yeah, but they did Vanguard, right?
Yeah, that was a modern...
Vanguard at all.
Vanguard was a Infinity Ward engine with with Sledgehammer given that engine and go make that, and they had to make Vanguard in like 6 months, mate.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like I
No,
didn't, I didn't
they
enjoy it at
were
all.
shafted. Hey, Brockamole and chat, how you doing, mate? Good to see you, my brother. Sledgehammer have been shafted every time they've been told to make a game because they've been told to work with Infinity Ward's stuff, and that's it. They haven't been allowed they haven't been allowed to make their own game ever. It's like Raven Software are basically there to maintain Warzone.
Yeah.
And you got like Demonware, they do the anti-cheat, if you can call it that. That's Demonware's job. You got Toys for Bob, they make the smaller maps, I think it is. Like Fondle and Rebirth, arguably some of the best maps in the game, actually. I'm pretty sure that's Toys for Bob that do that.
Toys for Bob.
Yeah, there's about 9 to 10 studios that work on Call of Duty, bro. I haven't named all of them. They're just the ones that keep coming into my mind. The ones that I know and the studios I know what they do, because I remember people hating on Infinity Ward about halfway through Warzone 1, and it was after it had been handed to Raven Software, and I was like, it's not Infinity Ward anymore, guys. It's Raven. You can't blame Infinity Ward for this, for the state, because yeah, it just got like, you can blame Demonware for the cheaters because they're in charge of the anti-cheat. Laughing Jack, so sad what's happened to COD. Yeah, it is, mate. It is. It's going to be milked. Oh, you watched the Warzone Championships? Nice one, Brock.
So I watched a couple weeks ago. They had a tournament or something going on for Warzone, and the meta was C4.
Yeah, C4 is devastating.
I was watching Tactical Brit Lackey. You know, he was live streaming. He wasn't playing. He was live streaming it and commentating on it.
Oh, okay.
And they got to this one point where there was this building, and they were on the bottom floor, whoever he was watching, and they threw the C4 up the stairs to the second floor, and it downed someone on the third floor.
Oh my god,
like,
no!
That's how ridiculous C4 is.
That shouldn't. No, that's going through walls. You shouldn't do that.
You know,
bullet penetration for a wall, I can get on board with that, but C4 penetration, unless it's going to take out the wall, mate, no.
The final circle, all the teams all have C4. They're just throwing it at each other, and you know.
Yeah, I've watched Tylenol. Tylenol play, and he uses C4 constantly because in Warzone 1 it's great because C4 had like a 4 or 5 meter throw on it when it started. I used to just decimate people with C4 in Warzone 1. They used to get so stressed, but then he nerfed it into the frigging ground.
Yep.
And honestly, it was like misspitting. You know, when you try and spit and it just goes out your lip. That's exactly what C4 got turned into, mate. It's a limp dick of a lethal.
Yep.
It's like throwing a Semtex and it landing at your feet. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny because, like, for a week or so after that, I saw people in DMZ try and use C4. You know, like people who I was fighting, and like it doesn't throw nearly as far as it does even in MW3 right now.
It's a different C4. That's why it's a whole different. It's a different game. They're not
and
connected.
I'm like, but you can tell they've been watching Warzone because they tried to use C4 in DMZ. It was like they tried to throw it. You know, this really far. I was like, man.
It's like, like Jack saying, really how is COD even fun? I totally agree, Jack. It's not, for me personally, it's not fun anymore. Because of everything I've said. And honestly, with the way even if you take cheaters out, I wouldn't play it because of the gameplay mechanics that are against you. If I played it once a week, yeah, I'd continue to play. But because I'm a hardcore player that plays 40, 50 hours a week, I can't play the game. It turns the screws too tight on people like me.
That makes sense.
And then when you couple it, like if you couple it with my incredibly toxic server base, it's just like I'd rather smear my balls with crab paste and dip them in a tank of piranha. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, well, that's an image. I'll give you that. But I can play Resurgence. That's about the only Warzone mode I can play for any amount of time, and it's really frustrating. But when you win, it's still really fun to win. For when I play it right now, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but as of right now, if I play and I play with random, so when you play with randoms and you win, it's even more.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because it's such a random potluck who you're gonna get with you.
Well, it's funny because the only time, remember when they had the night mode in?
Yeah, yeah, of
Um,
course.
so so you could play Vondel in Resurgence, and it had night mode, and Vondel was really cool at night. But I have a clip that I played. It was a quads, but two of our teammates left, and it was just me and this random dude, and we actually
Right.
ended up winning.
Hey, GG's, bro.
We,
Love to hear
it
it.
was so fun, you know. It was like, oh shit, like we actually won, just the two of us, and I got like the final two or three kills. It was like on an escalator type of thing. I was like,
Yeah,
I was, you know, that's hard
fair
to beat
play.
when you that feeling is hard to beat. It's almost like in DMZ when you wipe a squad or wipe a and you get out on final exfil and all that. That's the
I remember
that's
winning
exciting.
my first Warzone win was actually a limited time mode they did in Warzone 1, which was snipers and shotguns only.
Okay,
Fucking weird round, but it was with randoms. Weird gameplay. Literally, there was only either extremely
that is
close
weird.
weapons or super long range weapons. It didn't.
Yeah,
The list didn't last very long. We talked about it earlier. They do these little things, and it was just a little limited time mode. It might have only been on there for the day or two just to test it out. Because it's at the birth of Warzone, right at the beginning. And it's my first ever win. I was super stoked, and someone don't count. It's not normal mode. Fuck off, yeah, it does. Shut up, man. It's like
yeah,
me.
man.
It's
It
like me,
counts.
some
Any win
French guy
counts.
and some Russian guy without. I had no comms or anything, and comms were intermittent back then. Anyway, because like Warzone One had a period of about 8 weeks where there was no comms at all. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. Emmett, how you doing, bro? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the only thing more satisfying than like doing a win in DMZ is when you're playing with someone and they do something that's awesome. You know, like I've been playing with someone who you know, they're good, you know, but the first time they wipe a squad on their own, or the first time that they got the win, you know, they're the
yeah, yeah,
last one
yeah.
alive and they get the win, like that, to me that's so satisfying to
Yeah, I
watch
agree.
and to experience. Like, you know, I get more excited for that than I do my own
That's where
stuff, so
community
that's the
days were
kind of
great.
stuff.
That's where community
Yeah,
days were great. Like I said earlier, mate, because they were that was almost every round on a community day.
yeah,
Someone
yep,
fighting to get this mission done or needing to extract this weapon or whatever it was back in the day. Because people were coming to me not just for missions, they were coming to me to extract weapons and stuff. Um, and like every time you achieve something, it like even with the missions, it was great, especially because it didn't matter if you exfilled once you got the mission complete, unless obviously the mission
yeah.
relied on the exfil. And it was great. And it's feeding into exactly what you just said. Those moments are fantastic, but eh, it's not enough for me anymore. Like as a long term player, I can understand as a casual player, like you won't feel these mechanics quite so much. Um, but it's sad. It's
Yeah,
sad
so
for me. Like people talk about the death of Call of Duty. For me, it is dead.
okay,
Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? It's
for
not.
me,
Yeah, go on.
not yet. It's on life support
Yeah,
for me, you
and
know.
I think the only difference between the pair of us, and I think the main reason is how long we've played the game
Exactly,
and
yeah,
knowing what it was to what it is now. Because even like you came in Warzone One, so you came in when these mechanics were implemented, so you've never known any different.
exactly, yep.
Like I remember in Warzone One, putting entire clips into people, literally entire clips into people, and still not killing them. And I'm like, people back then, people were going, "Oh no, it's server lag, it's packet loss, and all that." And you'd be like, "Yeah, all right," because like SBMM Activision said flat out it didn't exist,
Mm-hmm.
flat out. They've said it for years, and like when they gave their release about SBMM a few months back, they said, "Oh, it's been around since Modern Warfare One in 2007." Well, that's a lie.
Mm.
It may have been like light SBMM back then, but not noticeable. And then so you're saying that now after years of saying it didn't even exist. So you just like you've admitted lying to the player base for best part of a decade, and no one picked up on it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You didn't see shit on social media going, they've lied to us for years about this. What the fuck? It just went off. Oh, people looking at it going, oh, that's great. That's what SBNM means. But no, it's full of double negatives and things that you can read between the lines on if you read their statement. Um, and I fucking hate it,
Yeah.
and it's killed the game. It's killed the game for me. So yeah, that's why I say it's dead. I will never, ever, ever spend money directly on Call of Duty ever again. I'll never buy a pack. Um, I don't think I will ever entertain it on my channel again because I do not want to give that game any time of day. I just don't.
See, for me, there's still enough of the moments that Metal just said. Like, he's like, I remember Maui's reaction when I clutched a squad wipe. He's like, he was so hyped. Like, to me, the
Yeah,
people I play with, there's still enough of those moments to make it worthwhile for me to
yeah,
play. But when DMZ goes away, or when the becomes fewer, then um, like I said, the most exciting moment I've had in the past like couple months of playing this game was when my friend I was playing with,
yeah.
um, she wiped a squad by herself,
Ah, good effort.
and then we played Resurgence, and she killed the last couple players by herself.
Go on, girl.
And we were playing with two other randoms, and like it was awesome. Like to watch that, I was genuinely like excited,
Yeah,
But it's been a long time since that's been the case.
yeah. And it's like
So,
for me, it's frustrating because playing with Witch is very difficult for her. Um, because SBMM doesn't know how to treat it
hmm
because she's relatively low level compared to me. So sometimes we'll play and she'll just get absolutely hammered. She won't even get a kill in a round because it's full of sweat people that play the game frequently because of the way SBMM works. But then on the flip side of the coin, we'll get some fucking real bot lobbies sometimes, bro.
yeah,
But
that's nice.
not very often. So we can't play multi unless it's shipment where it doesn't matter. We can't play proper multiplayer rounds together because she gets frustrated as fuck.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? When she plays on her own, she has loads of fun. She said it's noticeably different. Like from her mouth, it's noticeably different. And it's like if these mechanics weren't in the game, this it wouldn't matter because you'd get varied lobbies.
okay.
But you don't. It's the same shit every fucking round, isn't it? Like last night with Dutch, each round was more or less a carbon copy of the last round.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, my biggest problem with DMZ is like it used to be. There's still sometimes where it's like anything can happen type of deal, but for the most part now it's like almost a cookie cutter experience. Everyone, you spawn here, everyone pushes here.
Yeah,
Like,
and this goes back to wipes and stuff like that, and game maintenance, which obviously there wasn't enough players to warrant it. As hard truth that is to hear, that's the truth. DMZ did not make enough money, and I think that's
yeah,
I think that's the bottom line. You've got lots of players out there went, well, I bought 10 packs, it must have made a lot of money. No, it obviously didn't. If it was financially viable, and if it was a bigger cash cow than Warzone, which mode do you think they would have scrapped? Money talks and bullshit walks at the end of the day.
yeah.
And obviously not enough honey in the pot of DMZ to keep it going.
Well, there's also an X factor could be like sometimes people make stupid decisions. So even if it was like viable or money making or whatever, if someone didn't like it, you know, like
No, I agree.
look at
I
HBO and Max, right? Like
I agree with
HBO was
you
like a
because
name brand, and they got rid of it for Max.
they do have a history of chopping off healthy properties for the sake of other ones. So your argument definitely has credence there, mate. They did it with multiplayers back in the day, Modern Warfare 2, 3, 4, Modern Warfare 2 and 3, sorry, Black Ops 1 and 2 and stuff that had healthy as fuck player bases and gone. Not that they stopped the games working, they just released the next game and enticed everybody over there. And then just left it in the background as it was, in the state it was. Very little
Right.
updates and stuff. That's why recently, I don't know if you saw it, there was a spate of people's accounts being ripped to pieces in Black Ops games because they'd left the back door open for years. And people have finally found it. There was a point, maybe a year ago, that playing Black Ops could well get your computer exploded. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, I mean,
people could get kernel access through the game. It's stupid.
I'm just very biased because, like, in my experience, the corporate building process and the corporate think is just like almost always really stupid.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. I agree. They
It's
don't know
just
their
like,
ass from their elbows. Just like Bobby Kotick when he took over Activision said, "I'm here to take the fun out of games." He did it.
yeah,
He did it. He was true to his fucking word, mate. He took the fun right out of games, but he made them make a hell of a lot of money.
yep.
And that's the thing. People will play an unfun game and still spend money on it.
I mean, I won't, but
Yeah,
if I'm not having fun, I'm not.
I won't
playing
put a penny into it, mate. I won't put a penny into anything if I can avoid it, Activision related, ever again. I believe they are the definition of an evil corporation from a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, they say, yeah, right, Rush Hour 2, follow the evil rich white man. Activision. You know what I mean? They are the Dragon Casino from Rush Hour 2. That's a great euphemism for it, I think, mate. To be honest, they are a money-grabbing bunch of bastards and don't give a shit.
They're all
about
Mr. Burns. They're the
Yeah,
Mr.
they are.
Burns of the gaming community. Yeah,
they are.
Look at all those idiots. That song from the
Maybe the Bellends will. Yeah, Bellends. That's a very British insult, Bellends, isn't it? Absolute
Yeah, that's definitely
Bellend, mate. Absolute. Anyway, I think we have to end, mate. We've been going for 2 hours. But it's been a blast, mate. I think we've definitely put Call of Duty to the sword. I think we've spoke well about the good points and bad points of it. I have. Hey, Mambo Pig, how you doing, bro?
Hey,
Channel. I don't know yet, Mambo Pig. We've got Delta Force coming out, mate. I'm coming back to streaming now. I've got some energy back, bro. But I've got to think long and hard about what game I can sustainably play and keep it entertaining for you guys and fun. Call of Duty ain't that because I'm a miserable prick when I play the game. Even when I'm off stream, I'm a miserable prick playing the game because I fucking hate it. But thank you for your question, man. It's good to see you in the chat, man, Bill Pig. It really is.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and move to another channel.
But yeah,
point,
podcasting, we've definitely got to look into localizing that to a different area. We put it onto this channel first to get it out there and get people aware of it, but things need to be done.
We'll definitely make you guys aware when we...
Yeah, I'm thinking like Rumble, Spotify, places like that to expand out, and maybe YouTube as well, and build another channel. We just got to work out how we can manage a channel between two people effectively. But we will get there. We will get there. But guys, it's been amazing. Everyone who's stuck around for the podcast today, thank you very much. I will be back, as I said, streaming on ADHG soon with multiple different games. I've got some games that I'm having fun with, and I miss you guys. It'd be nice to hang out. But at the same time, I can't crash Jerry by playing games that aren't FPS related, if that makes any sense, guys, because like the majority of the viewer base or sub base haven't subbed for podcasts, and me playing like truck simulators and fucking chefing games and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Live podcast for an hour, maybe Shima. We got to say about it. This was a contingency plan because I fucked something up.
It might be the best thing that happened too. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like doing live cast. This is for me and my mouth have been a very controversial subject to talk about because I'll just spit facts.
I think that's the biggest barrier right now is both of us have small filters when it comes
like
to
if I came on here and talked about British politics, for example, my channel may get taken down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Have you picked the topic of the next pod? Not yet, Vince. Not yet, mate.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. I think over the next couple days and figure out what the next subject.
Yeah, because like gaming.
If you guys
and
have
movies,
suggestions, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you guys got suggestions, fire them out there. But yeah, no politics, no shame. I might start a different channel for my opinions on that because I got a lot to say. I shouldn't have looked back into politics last month. I really shouldn't have. Damn. But
so that's. I just want to say, like, that's the funny part. Like Shima said, no politics, which I agree with. I mean, it's a very difficult subject, but it shouldn't be.
No, I agree.
Right? Like, I think that was the communication breakdown was kind of about is like trying to create communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, where people can actually talk again.
Yeah,
and have a difference of opinions.
Whatever. Politics is people
that's
very
the dream,
passionate.
right?
It's very difficult to speak, like me and you are right now about Call of Duty about political beliefs.
Oh yeah, I mean, trust me, dude. I got a degree in political science. Like,
yeah, I know you do. I know you do.
I've seen it. Like it's crazy from when I graduated in 2010 compared to now. Like being able to talk, you just can't do it. You can't do it anymore.
No, you can't. You can't. Hopefully, the overcorrection stops and people can start talking again openly.
Hopefully,
but that's a conversation for another topic and another time.
Yes, sir.
Guys. Yeah, exactly, Shima. But thank you guys all for being here. Yeah, if you come back with an idea for a podcast, stick it on the Discord or bang it in the comment section back here after the stream ended or something like that. But it seems like movies and gaming have been the most popular so far. Music wasn't really that popular, but I think that's because it's such a vast expanse and so many different artists compared to people that make movies and directors and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's such a varied conversation that it's a bit hard to whittle down to something that people are going to go, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Whereas movies, everybody likes films, more or less. Do you know what I mean? Most people, especially of our age group, have seen the same films and can relate to what we're talking about. Very much like when it comes to playing Call of Duty, everyone can relate because this was a Call of Duty channel to start with in its infancy.
Yep.
Whereas
I agree.
music is way too broad a stroke. Because someone could be like, oh, they could be talking about some music shit I don't like. Fuck clicking that. Oh, I like Call of Duty. What have they got to say on it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as I said, we'll be looking at shifting the podcast to a different channel and other platforms. We just wanted to see how it's going. It's going quite well, guys. You guys seem very responsive and seem to enjoy our podcast. I've had a lot of positive feedback, and I think Lucky's had lots of positive feedback, all through different people as well, actually, not the same people talking to both of us, which is really good. It's a really positive thing going forward. When gaming used to be on UK TV Sunday mornings, gaming on UK TV on Sunday mornings. I've never watched UK TV, bro. Tottenham. Tottenham, Jesus, you're bringing football into it. Oh shit!
That's a subject I can't help you with.
What, soccer? No.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could probably we should try it sometime because I could probably talk enough about it in my experiences with the little experience I have with soccer. But,
mate, a better one would be American football versus rugby, and why rugby players are complete psychos.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
Yeah, mate, rugby is American football, no pads. Do you know what I mean? Those guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, politics chat's never going to happen on this channel, I do. Trust me, mate. My views are too controversial, I think. Oh, dear.
Yeah, my views aren't controversial. It's just people are so, like, I don't want to even say sensitive, just so, like, built into what they think. So.
All right, much love for Metal Takes Telly. Anyway, we're going to end anyway, guys. We are going to shoot off. But thank you all again for taking part. It's been sick, this podcast, and we will catch you guys soon. Look, do you want to say peace out to everybody?
Yeah, thanks for listening. It was a long podcast, but you guys, appreciate the interaction, everything. Drop those suggestions.
Yeah, definitely drop some suggestions in. Right, guys, I'm going to see if I can push you on to somebody else.
I think Dutch is streaming, actually.
Is she? She's not on my list.
Oh, she might have been. She said she was gonna, but it was only gonna be a short time. Yeah, it looks like she's off already.
Oh, she's off. All right, let me see if I can find somebody nice. I'll send you over Ash, guys. I'll send you OG52. Go watch some DMZ with him. Anyway, much love, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Thank you again for being here. It's been ace. And we'll see you soon. I'll be back on stream soon, guys, with some games. So keep your eyes out. Well, on the Discord, because I'll let you guys know through there. But it's been great. Much love, guys. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Later, guys.